Welcome back to Mr.BetonYou, the weekly Sunday show for gig drivers, DoorDash, or whatever apps you work. I'm Pedro. Listen, all this week, mostly what you saw from content creators within this space is, I feel like everybody talked about the gig strike. I got some opinions. I went live for 7.5 hours. I said some crazy stuff. Not crazy, but for some of y'all, like I was really in my bag. If you guys can hear me, hit a thumbs up in the chat if you can before I get into tonight's show, what we're going to talk about. I think we're live. I can't tell. I think there's a delay. Heard. Okay, you guys can hear me. Cool. Okay. There's a delay. Okay. So everybody this week talked about it. I saw some great streams, some great videos. I got introduced to content creators I never knew existed because, you know, when you look at certain things, the algorithm is going to point you in other directions. I think a lot of people that were a part of this or created it feel like they won. I think a lot of people feel like this was good. I saw a lot of really happy, passionate people talking about and participating in the strike. I'm going to show you guys some videos. We'll go over some things. If you go on YouTube, what you would see. Clearly, in my opinion, because this is the third, going on 3 years on YouTube, this is the fourth or fifth strike that I've heard about and I made a few videos in the past. I want to be very clear. I'll mention some names. I'm going to give some credit. I'm looking to have some people come up on the live tonight. I am extremely anti-protest and strike. And I'm going to get into that tonight. I am looking for people that are pro-strike, pro-protest, or anybody that actually participated physically. I'm looking for those people to come on the show tonight. If you agree with me, or if you're like, Pedro, no, we can't strike an app, I'm really not interested in having you on the show for the first segment. I'm looking for people that say we should be doing what we're doing. I do want to give some credit. I'll give some credit where credit is due. This isn't going to be negative. I'm not going to be yelling and screaming at people. But I think it's important to talk about it for various reasons. But I'm going to be in the minority, I think, of a lot of people. Or maybe it's split. I don't know. A lot of things in this country are very split. We're very divided. And I'll get into some things. We're going to get into that, okay? So appreciate everybody for that cheer. If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, there's 110 people watching. There should be 110 thumbs up. We need to get this out there. The two content creators that I attributed, which means I tagged them, I have a lot of respect for various reasons. We can, just because I might not agree with tactics or lingo doesn't mean I can't have respect. So Uber Jeep AZ, I think is Mike Drop Barbecue right now. He changed his name, but Uber Jeep AZ and Torsten from the Rideshare Professor. A lot of respect for both of you gentlemen. If you even see this clip, whatever, a lot of respect. I think, like I was saying, I'm going to ramble. This monologue isn't scripted, but just in the beginning, and then we'll get into the show and you guys. I think this was the most successful one. I have to give them credit for that. The other strikes that I've commented on and had opinions on, there's one for Thanksgiving. I think there was one for the last couple of Thanksgivings and other holidays. St. Patty's Day, I remember that. Or I felt like did not get as much media coverage. So that's trending for them in the right direction. And I think a lot of you might agree with that. I think more people talked about it. I talked about this one more than the other ones. I definitely feel like people were having an opinion on it and talking. And talking is good. Conversation is good. We don't have to agree, but we can come to the table with facts, opinions, our perspective. Because the thing about the gig economy is there's so many different people that work it, and they've been working it for a little bit, a lot, forever. So your opinion and your reality of these strikes or protests are going to be different for those reasons. So, like I said, looking for somebody to come on the live. I'm going to share the StreamYard link here shortly after we look at some videos and just scroll through some things and mention some things that participated in it or is really for it and thinks that this is going to be what we need to do to feel better about the apps. I think that's the best way. We want to feel better. There's so many things. You can talk about money. We can talk about safety. Some things are controllable, not controllable. Money, safety, transparency. Those are really the big three, right? And rideshare driving is very different than food delivery. I've done both. Gig Gal, thanks for the $4.99. Thank you very much. Hit that thumbs up, people. I want to get some people in here. I've done both. I've done rideshare and food delivery. So it's very different, but I think some of the complaints are the same. Transparency is the number one issue for most people, I think. We should know what we're picking up, how much we're getting paid. We should know who we're delivering to. There should be names, you know. Money, probably right behind that, and they kind of go hand in hand. And safety. Those things, rideshare, food delivery, we all deal with it, right? So me sitting here being very anti-strike, very anti-protest, I'll give my reasons, but I want to have somebody to talk to that is the opposite side. So when I have that StreamYard link there, if you feel very differently, especially if you protest, I want to have a really good dialogue with you as to why and what you think is going to happen from this. Is this going to be a trend upwards? Before I get into that, I will share some opinions that are going to tickle some of y'all. It's going to piss some of y'all off as well. I'm going to use some words. Y'all know I don't hold back. Before I get into that, let's look at these videos and I'm going to say what's up to you guys. So like if I pull up YouTube, because I think what a lot of this is we want the consumers to be informed as to what's going on, right? The more media, the more consumers, customers know about it. Drivers are drivers. Most drivers didn't even know about this, right? But the ones that are watching YouTube and that are on Facebook and Reddit, a lot of them probably did, but most probably did not. Craig, appreciate that. Super chat alert, thank y'all. Really what y'all can do is hit them thumbs up so we can get people in here. All right. I'll get into the live chat in a minute. I'll say what's up to everybody. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull up this for you guys. So if you type in like Gig Strike or DoorDash Strike or any of those things, you're going to see a lot of content. I've already named the two people that I thought handled it the best. There's actually one more. And I like to give credit where credit's due for the content creators, even if they're bigger than me or smaller. It doesn't matter. I've been doing a lot of that. We'll get into that at some point too. Torsten, he's the guy. He's the number one dude that's pushing this. Mike Drop Barbecue, Jeff, Uber Jeep AZ. And there's a channel called The Handsome Liberal. Just kind of found him more. I knew about him, but been watching. He's been covering it very balanced. I like him a lot. The Handsome Liberal. Go check him out. So those are the three people I'm going to credit for talking about it the most in a positive way, like it was a good thing. So let's bring up, I'm going to share my screen. So if you go to YouTube, there might not be audio here, but you guys don't need that. You guys should see a second. Hold on. If you type in Gig Strike, for example, right? This is the first things that are going to kind of pop up. Okay, so I'll scroll just a little bit. Just bear with me. Okay, a lot of news media, you know, things from a year ago, 2 years ago, current things, you know, that's 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 days ago, 4 days ago, 4 days ago. You're going to find all kinds of stuff, right? 5 days today, the Today Show, 5 days, News Nation, right? If I go in here and I type, so that was Gig Strike. If I type, if I type Uber Strike, I'll get some more, a lot of coverage, some of the same things, and you're going to have some shorts. You might have some content creators, but what's funny is if I'm a consumer, I get the news, right? I don't know about content creators if I'm most consumers. Now I know about some of the gentlemen I named, right? So all their content basically will go to Uber Jeep AZ first. I think it's called Mike Drop Barbecue, the Mike Drop Barbecue. I'm sorry. He's going to be all his videos that are current are going to be about that mostly because that's a big deal in the rideshare community. Lyft gaslighting, Uber Lyft exploit, Uber Lyft protest. I mean, some great views on these videos, Jeff. January 26th podcast, the protest, best fares, all kinds. Then you'll see other people, rideshare rant. I mean, a lot of people talked about this. I mean, a lot of people. The other content creator I mentioned, I'll bring him up real quick, and then we'll get into my opinion. And I'm looking for opposite opinions tonight. So if you go to the Rideshare Professor, I mean, that's all he talks about basically over the last week. Okay, so here's his videos. Uber Lyft stickers for striking. No luck, no luck. This is the video with the map there. It was a big one for him. Desperados, ants, and pigeons. So I'm a desperado, I'm an ant, and I'm a pigeon, according to this gentleman, which is okay. Mike Bender, the gig workers answered. We plan ahead. AK views on this video right here. This is a good one. I watched this one 3 days ago. Really, it's a good video. All right? Okay. And you see some other content. I mean, there's so many new content creators that I've seen throughout the last couple days because I was looking for content. I was looking to see the opinion of other people, right? All right, let me go ahead and remove that. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see who we got up in here. Hey, Pedro and friends, dashing across America, Chuck, what's up? Rideshare Rodeo, Steve, Canada Club Chicago, Nathaniel, what's up? I was wondering what's that. Let me go up a little bit. I want to see if anybody's in here that would like to chat. Rideshare Rodeo, appreciate the $9.99, man. Thank you very much. Go ahead and put that up on the screen. Cray and Gig Out, appreciate y'all. I see Jason, Eric, Princess and Sarah, Bala, Gig Bell Tolls, Kevin, Raz, what's up, Penny, Will, first day to be back on DoorDash in 2024. I love that I need to take a pic twice. Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy, isn't it? I deliver with Ellen. How you doing? Leonard, I have an Applebee's and Chili's in my market. Everything else is local. Bud Soda, what's up? Pedro, do a vid on summer gas prices. Yeah, it's not the summer yet. Just think if the government Samantha does decide that this is no longer work how you want and they make it a W-2. Yeah, we've talked about that. Literally only thing that we could do as for strikes go is that we all go online and no one accepts one order. It says SKM. Okay. All right. Okay, so we are here, says Robert. Okay. All right. The Monster Nomadic. What up? Appreciate all y'all. Okay. So I'm looking for, so let me go into a minute monologue, and I'm looking for people that either protested that day, didn't work, were the people that were in other people's live chats or my chat saying, hey, I stand, I want to strike, this is good, this is what we need to do. We need to put Uber and break them down and make them pay more. We need it. It's almost like we want a union. It's like pro-union in some cases. I want those individuals because let me go off for a second. I think these strikes are absolute garbage. I'm going to say that sentence one more time. I think these strikes and these protests, whichever, are absolute dog shit. A big fat dog in my front yard took a big shit on my yard. That's how I feel about it. I'm very strong and very passionate like these other gentlemen, just in the opposite way. So this is why. And then I want somebody to debate me about that. If nobody comes up, I'll end the live. Because what I don't want us to do is sit there and hold hands and sing Kumbaya, because everybody else just did that this week. We don't do that over here. I'm taking the far other side on this. This is why. When I see, and we talk about us being divided as a community, we talk about, not everybody's going to be happy. It's work. You can go to W-2, whatever, any kind of work, and good employees, happy employees, bad employees, sad employees, mad employees, crying employees. It's even professional athletes that are getting paid millions of dollars. You got the guy at the end of the bench, doesn't like what he's doing, thinks he's underpaid. And you got the other guy, everything's great. So in any way, when people are making money, you're going to have a difference of opinion. Let me tell you why I stand where I stand. When I see people in Seattle, New York City, some people in California, while some people like the changes of legislation and the things that they did and the protests that were signed, and all the people in California signed all these things and all this stuff to get their benefits and all that stuff, you have a mixed bag of it works for me, it's not works for me. What I'm seeing right now basically is we're raising the bottom. So that means, and this is going to be hard for some people to hear, and I'll say this first: Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, we know these are billion-dollar companies. We know they don't treat us as well as they could, maybe, as well as they should. And they don't really understand what we go through because we're not W-2s. We are a number to them. They physically don't even see us. They don't even know what my voice sounds like. They don't know that I have a kid. We're at a W-2, they know those things. Anyways, we have people that are striking. These people want to be employees. They haven't figured it out. Or they figured it out and they just want to get the attention of the weak. And I'm saying these words and I mean them. This is not for effect. If you can't make this work for you, you're weak. You're weak in two different ways. Either your market sucks and that's not your fault, but you're too weak to adapt and go back to a W-2. You don't want to swallow your pride. You've been driving Uber for 10 years and I just can never go back. You're weak if you can't make it. If your market isn't sustainable, you're weak that you haven't realized it and you continue to do the same thing. And you want a pay raise from a gig app. It doesn't work like that. A lot of the people that I mentioned that are passionate and very strong and that I respect, these guys are doing just fine. They got a lot of money. They're doing just fine because they're not weak men. Torsten's not weak. Jeff is not weak. The handsome liberal, not weak. These guys are strong individuals. They're businessmen. They're smart. On this channel, I've always said I want to make y'all like these dudes. I want us to uplift together. I don't want to pacify. I don't want to give you a hug. I don't want to sit in a parking lot with you and you lie to me that you got deactivated 12 times. That's bullshit. That's not true. A lot of people right now are mad and angry, and we're getting emotional. And in this country, the loudest ones aren't always right. And I saw a lot of loud people, including myself, this week. And they think they did something. I want to see what you guys think you did. Media attention, off the chain. I give you that. But the best case scenario is if we even get to the table, you think they're going to give us more money? It's not going to happen. Good night. Okay, I'm right in the middle of it, babe. Sorry. Okay. I love you. I thought I said good night. I'm sorry. I love you guys. Family first. All right. I didn't know that I'm coming down. I totally lost my train of thought. I'll get it back. Torsten the GOAT. Okay, this ain't shots at any of these gentlemen. This is my opinion. I gave them their flowers and their respect in the beginning. These guys are fine. My point is, the people that are always loudest don't mean you're right. You're just loud. I'm loud. So if we win, we get legislation, right? Because the news cameras, blah, 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 they would then get to the politicians, and politicians can see votes, and let's get into these, and that's what would happen. Oh, I see Jeff in here. I'm going to put the link in just a minute. If we win, that's what we get. We get legislation. Or, like Jeff says, maybe the consumers are more educated, and then they might tip more. Or you can take them off book. Jeff talks about that. He talks about getting personal clients. He talks about exchanging information, right? That could be a win. But in my opinion, if we win, we probably get legislation. And then everybody that can't make it is making a little bit more. And everybody doing okay is going to go down. And everybody is on the same playing field. Is that what we want? Do we want all drivers to make the same? Is there no personal responsibility of skill level, better customer service, a cleaner car? Do we want some of these drivers that are making shit money, driving an old raggedy car, they're complaining they can't make money? Do we want them to get a pay raise? I don't. Not at all. I do not want that. There's nothing about that I want. All right, I'm going to put the link in. I'm going to pin it, and I'm looking for people that want to protest and want to strike. I want to talk about the future. I want to talk about what we're trying to achieve, what we think this did. I think this was the best one. I think this was the best one. But where do we go from here? What are we trying to achieve? What do you think that will look like for the community as a whole? Benefit, or would it be a negative long term? That's what I want to talk about. So let me go ahead and pin the comment, pin the link. And I would love for Jeff to come up. Let's see. So let's go in there. Let's go in here. Let me do that. And then I think it's Control V. There we go. Bam. All right. So I'm going to pin this up at the top. And I'm looking for anybody that has a different opinion. Pro-strike, pro-protest. That's who I want to get more information from. What's going to happen? What do you think we achieve this weekend, more importantly? All right, let me pin it in just 1 second, guys. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, so that link is pinned up at the top of the chat. Hit the thumbs up. It looks like we're going to have some guests here. I got my man Jeff here. I know he's bringing it, and I'm ready. I want him to educate y'all. Maybe he could take some of y'all on that side. Because I know a lot of you guys in the comments are like, no, we can't strike. I'm this, I'm that. I'm out of W-2. But let's see if he's got something to say about that. All right, so let me go ahead and go back in here. If you agree with me, this isn't your segment of the show. I need to be very clear on that. So if you want to come up and you want to say, Pedro, yeah, I think you're right. Not looking for that. You guys can do that later if we're still live. I'm looking for the other side. The guys that want this, the guys that think this is a positive for the community. That's the conversation we're trying to have tonight. So I want to be very clear. I don't want you coming up here saying, yeah, Pedro, yeah. Nope, not interested. Okay. Jeff, I'm bringing you up in 1 second. And it might be better if it's just Jeff and I, actually. So everybody else just calm down. Jeff's going to give us some fireworks. Hold up. Where's he at? Let me bring him up. Mike Drop Barbecue. What's up, man?
What's good, brother? Long time no see.
I see. Man. Listen, I'm glad you're here.
Me too. You know, me too.
Yeah, no, I am. I tagged you and Torsten and got a lot of respect for you guys, but I disagree. And I know you guys, you know, are real good businessmen and you're great at what you do. But I want to hear your thoughts on first how you think it went. I'm sure you hear some of the things I said. I want to just let you just kind of bring it to this community and say your piece.
First, I want to say thanks for letting me get on, because you know me and you, we bump heads about a lot of shit. You know it. No. So the fact that you let me on, I respect that. So real shit. Now, for people out there that don't know me, y'all gotta realize, you know, I'm a very opinionated, passionate person. I agree with the protest, because what a protest is, it's about bringing attention to a topic. I mean, we've seen protests about BLM. We've seen protests about, you know, domestic violence, abuse, stuff like that. We've seen a lot of protests. If you don't bring attention to a topic, that topic never gets addressed. So the fact that we brought it to rioters have seen it. The apps are you know, and breakdown mode. They're out there really trying to get shit going. Like, hey, you know what? We're really paying drivers right. We're doing this. They know we coming. We the 300. They know we coming. Like I said, we're a small army, but we coming for them. I've had so many people offer me cash, and I don't like saying that shit on live stream, because I hate to make people think that rideshare drivers are rolling around with all this money in their pocket. Yeah, I'm not that way. But I'm gonna tell you on this live stream right now, I put a G in my safe this week off motherfuckers done paying the apps, and I don't say that shit to nobody. I ain't even say that on my channel, because I don't want nobody to see us like that. You can ask any driver out there this week. We had too much money in our wallet. People are done with the apps. They're done being played. You don't pay the travel agency $1,000 and you find out the cruise wasn't worth nothing but $250. And that's what these apps are doing. We protested. We stood up about that. A lot of people, like I said, slavery didn't end because people kept working harder. Slavery ended because people stood up to that shit and fought for it and said, we're going to put our lives on the line for that. You don't end something by saying, we're going to play the game. We're going to lay down. Okay, cool. When you guys are ready to not make us slaves, just we on y'all time. No, fuck that. We stand up when it's time to stand up. Too many people out here driving their cars don't have the $2,500 deductible that Uber says you need to have if you wreck your car on the app. If you ain't got 25, y'all know me. I show my bank account every month. I got 20 G's in the bank, but I'm an anomaly to the game. I'm an accountant. I do other shit to make money too. I'm an anomaly. But you can't base this industry on an anomaly here and there because Torsten has money, because you got money. Only a few of us have money, but we stand up for those that don't have it. You ain't got $200, $2,500. Your ass shouldn't be driving on this app today. What Uber needs to do is lower that deductible down to 100, down to 200, or let us use our own commercial insurance. Y'all charging us way too much for commercial insurance. $200 for a half day. $200 for a half day of driving.
Who's they?
Uber and Lyft. When you look at all these rides we getting almost $200 for a half day of working. You can drive for 11 hours. You add up all your commercial insurance, I bet it's about $200. It only costs you about $300-$400 a month for commercial insurance in reality. You paying $10-$15 a day. Why they charging us $200 a day for commercial? That shit on our back. They're pocketing that money. They're charging these riders for that. They pocketing that money. That's our money. So what they should do is say, we'll give you a choice. How about y'all buy your own commercial insurance? We give you 100% of the fare that the person pays. Today, I just posted a short. Motherfucker paid $445 for a ride. The driver got $165. I
saw that. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's 8 hours round trip. You're going to get somebody $165? That's crazy. We stand up for that shit.
Somebody will do it because they'll be like, oh, well, that's my whole day's money. Now I don't have to do anything else. But yeah, that's not a very profitable.
And I'm glad you said that. That's what we call pigeons. I'm glad you said that's a pigeon.
Yeah, because you're going to spend, I drove to Indianapolis yesterday, 4-hour drive. Right. Yeah. I spent almost $100 in gas.
Yeah.
Right? So if you do, you know, I drove 8 hours yesterday. Yeah. I'm only gonna net 65.
And we call that pigeons, man. We say pigeons. When you throw popcorn at the park, when you sit on the park bench, guess what? Pigeons don't analyze what that is. They just fly down and eat that shit.
Let me ask you a question, because you brought it up and I mentioned it. You guys are fighting for the pigeons though, right?
Yeah, we are, because pigeons don't have no brain. So you got to have somebody with a brain driving this ship.
Okay.
Pigeons are desperate people. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you walk into a strip club right now, you got girls in there being pimped. How come all girls ain't pimps? I ain't being pimped because some girls got brains. Why are some girls pimped, but some girls not pimped? Because some girls stand up for themselves and go get an education and go raise their kids, do that shit the right way. But for the girls that are being exploited, being trafficked, somebody has to stand up for those girls because they're vulnerable, they're weak, they're broke. So when you got a broken person, and I don't mean financial all the time, but soul, when you break somebody's soul, somebody's got to stand up for that person. Why do we have churches out there? Because people got broken souls. So you take your broken ass to a church and you get your soul recharged. If you ain't out there having somebody stand up for you, for the weak out there, weak ain't always about I ain't got enough money. We could be your soul. I got a strong soul. I got a strong spirit. I stand up for people. This is what I do. When I see somebody who's broken, man, I got to take these shit rides or my kids ain't going to eat. I say, you know what? Motherfucker, get you some business cards made. Get you a cash app going. Let's get you some real money. Let's not have you out there like that.
Yeah, you talk about converting people to like cash rides. And I did it a little bit when I did rideshare. You've done a lot more than me. But you know, it's not easy to do, but it's something you can build, right? Especially if you drive enough and you know your community and you're good with people. You keep you got a business card, you keep a good clean car, you look presentable, like you don't have pajamas on, you know, you understand, right?
Yeah.
But there are some, you know, I don't think most drivers can do that. And should we be pushing it? Are they gonna have the right insurance? And what if something happens? And you know,
I think even driving on the app, ain't nobody got $2,500 right now. There's people on my channel right now renting because they wrecked while driving on the app. Driving on the app, your personal insurance is gonna say we don't cover that. Uber covers that. Uber says you got to give us $2,500 for us to even start your claim. Who's got $2,500 laying around? It's a poverty trap. It's a poverty trap. Drive for us. We got you insured. Okay, bam, you hit somebody. You got $2,500. We'll handle your claim. I ain't got $2,500. We'll rent from Hertz. Now you can rent from Hertz. So you come up with that $2,500. Now you'll never come up with that $2,500 because you still got a car note on the car you wrecked. Now you got to pay for this Hertz car. You ain't never coming up with that. It's a poverty trap, and they know it. Simple math.
So one thing about this strike versus the other ones, like I said in the beginning, this one definitely got more media coverage. In my opinion, right? I mean, right? You would,
which is good. Yeah.
That's the one thing I can say, like, Dad, never liked this before.
Yeah.
Even from our small little YouTube community, a lot of content creators talking about it. New people, OG channels. I mean, the rideshare guy was live. We didn't see this last year, the year before that, right? Like, so
this was crazy. This went crazy. The
media coverage was definitely better, right? But where's the end game? What's Jeff's end game? Like, what would you like to see happen from these? Like, what's the best case?
Well, a lot of people who are on my channel, know that a lot of us rideshare drivers here, we've done this before Uber. A lot of us have our own commercial insurance. A lot of us have now. I just put out a permit. You can get a $10 for-hire permit in Arizona. I put that video out, and I'm showing people how to get a for-hire permit. You don't have to work for the apps. The apps want you to think that, though. It's slave mentality. You have to work for us if you want to drive your car and make money. You don't have to. There are a lot of states out there who allow you to buy a livery, who allow you to buy your own chauffeur licenses. The apps are just the easy way to get in because they say, hey, we'll bring you in under our umbrella. All we do is a background check. So it's a low barrier to entry when you drive on the app. If you really want to get what you deserve, really want to get your money, then you got to go get your money. It's going to cost money to make money. Go out there, say, I'm going to get my own commercial insurance. Go get it. You find out through Travelers, through Progressive, how much it costs State Farm.
How are these people that don't have $2,500? If most of them are pigeons, I think they are. I think most are pigeons, right? How are we going to get them to that level to make a difference?
They got to do cash rides. Like I said, we've been doing cash. I've been doing cash rides out of Caprice Classic in 1993. My girl Vanessa's going to come on my channel. She actually works with police departments all over America. She's going to come jump on my channel. And she was one of the people who I actually chauffeured in my 1995 S420. I had a big Mercedes S420. I chauffeured her and her girls to a club one night. They hit me up in Vegas and I've been doing it since that long. Everybody, oh man, you're going to wreck a car. You're going to motherfucker win. When have I wrecked my cars? Oh, it can happen. Man, it can happen that I walk out the house and get fucking shot, but I don't worry about that every day and say, I need life insurance today. I might walk out the house and get shot. It don't work like that. If you work off of fear every day, you're going to live in a hole every day. I work off of potential and capabilities. I know what I'm capable of, and I know the potential of money that's out there. So if somebody called, like every morning, people have seen every morning on my channel, I do a cash ride, one every day. I set this up a long time ago. I haven't wrecked my car yet. So when am I going to wreck this motherfucker? Y'all keep saying I'm going to wreck my car. I do it every day, every single Monday through Friday.
Right. So how long would it take for others to get? So what's the end game? So if these protests continue, like let's say, so there's probably going to be, I think Torsten said there'll be another one, probably what?
Yeah.
St. Patty's Day, right? And then there'll be another one maybe in the summer. And then obviously you got the Thanksgiving and certain holidays, you know, days when the volume is high. He's going to be doing something, right? And everybody's talking about it, which is good. But well, what are we looking for? What's the end? Do we want everybody
the end game is honesty and transparency. Because if riders knew that I was only getting $18, they'd wonder why they're paying $92. What am I paying the $92 for? If this guy only cost me $18 to take me from here to my house, what is all this other money for? That's what they want to know. Because a lot of these riders they're shocked to find out all we getting is a couple of a small percentage out of it. A lot of them are shocked. And another thing, a lot of us already, like I said, we have commercial insurance. So why are we being double billed for insurance? If my company says, Jeff, I cover you in the event of you doing commercial business in your car, I should be allowed to call Uber and Lyft and say, hey, guys, give me the cut of commercial insurance you're taking from me because my own company says they're covering me. My own company got me because I'm doing business like this. I'm paying, $15 a day. And if they say, you know what, we can't cover you. That's why we do cash rides. That's why we do Cash App and Venmo, because we're already covered with our commercial plans. Our commercial plans only running us $15 a day, $20 a day. That's it.
So let me ask you a question. If we're looking to push consumers off the Uber app, right? So that the drivers can make more money and consumers can save money. But then are we also promoting? You said you put away a stack.
Oh yeah, I show every month. Every month. A lot of people in your live don't know for the last 14 months of my life doing this shit. 14 months. I posted my bank account on the first day of the following month. I've done that. A lot of your people don't know it because I can hear people saying, show your bank account. These motherfuckers don't know me. I do it for real.
I've seen those videos.
Y'all got 14 bank accounts on my channel right now. Go look, motherfucker. Go check. And you're going to get 15 on March the 1st.
Yeah, I know. I can vouch for that. I've seen them, right? So my point is, are we promoting for more people to be off the apps driving, saves the consumer, we make more money, but now we got cash? I'm promoting for the apps. The apps have to make a choice. Either they're going to keep stealing tips, getting fined, having settlements. Either they're going to do that or drivers are going to stand up for ourselves. They got a choice to make. The ball is in their court. They know we doing cash rides. They're doing PR right now. They know their stock depends on us. Their stock depends on us accepting a ride and making that money. If we don't accept the ride and make them no money, their stock goes down because their revenues go down. So they got to keep us on the app. You need to learn how to keep drivers on your app and keep them from doing cash rides. That's on the app right now. We're going to keep protesting and letting everybody know the apps are screwing us. And more drivers, more riders see that. And the riders go, dude, why am I paying $120 for this ride to leave the concert when you're willing to take $80? Because the app is only going to give me like $49. Right.
But if I'll take $80, you save $40 and I'll make an extra $40. We both good. The apps don't want that.
Everybody wins. Uber and Lyft loses. DoorDash loses. Whoever, right? If I got a little Walgreens customer up the street and I could do it off the app, DoorDash loses. They don't get the fee. They don't get. But in let's say a year from now, right? Dara, Tony, and they come to you and Torsten and say, "We want y'all to sit down at the table with me." Would you do that with them?
I would, but they don't want me. I'm a corporate accountant. The first thing I'm gonna do is say, "Hey, man, I know how these books work." Like a lot of people on your channel don't know, I was a 20-year corporate accountant for casinos in Las Vegas. I'm the one who worked for Carl Icahn. Carl Icahn is an investor in Lyft. Actually, I helped get Vegas World out of bankruptcy, and we opened it up. We call it Stratosphere now. I was on that team of accountants that did that. A lot of people don't know who I am. They think I'm just a motherfucker driving around in a BMW. Trust me, I got a long career. Right. I walked away at 38. I retired at 38 years old, bought a house, did everything I wanted to fucking do. Just kind of living my days right now. But I know this dream can happen for people who are willing to put their time and effort into it. So I fight for people who want to really live this dream. Not no lazy motherfuckers, but people who really want to do it. And that's what I fight for. Right.
So you and Torsten are sitting at the table with them, right?
Yeah.
And they want to ask you guys, hey, well, what do you guys want? What can we do? And you guys are talking about transparency, the take rates. We're talking about safety, making sure customers don't have fake names on the account, like various things like that, better vetting systems, not having wrongful deactivations, right? So
that's a big thing.
Yeah, so
that's a big thing.
We get all that stuff from them. Let's say they put those things in place. Drivers are making more, they're making less. Like a year from now, you're sitting at that table. Do you think that, is that what we're working towards? Is that what you guys want? Or are we working towards having drivers do it more off app and do cash rides? Like, do we want to stay with the way the app is and still be independent? Or are we trying to turn drivers into small business owners? Like, what is the best case for you? Let's say a year from now, at that table, you have a conversation, we walk away, and then they start implementing. Like, do you think that'll happen? But also, like, what's the end game, man? Like,
well, see, you got to realize with rideshare and delivery, the apps are only marketing tools. That's all they are.
Right.
We can always get our own commercials, do our own thing. Why do you think we're all doing our own? We can create a website. There's been travel companies around for eternity. People don't always use the apps to move to and from. People use travel companies and charter services all the time, private drivers, everything. We use the apps for marketing. That's all it is. It's finding a ride for somebody. It is not a service that drives people. So for people out there who don't realize they're trapped into that plantation mentality of, I can't do a ride unless I use this app. You're part of the problem. The apps already think they got you mentally trapped into being on that plantation. When the apps has to realize you need us as drivers to make your app work. Without drivers, your app is nothing but a video game. People gonna sit there and play all day. The moment drivers stand up and say, I'm not taking that ride for that price, because everybody was scared to decline rides. We're not scared to decline rides because I know my worth. Last night, I went out last night for 2 hours, 3 hours. I went out last night for 3 hours last night, made almost $100 an hour. I only drive UberX and Lyft. People say, how do you make $100 an hour on UberX and Lyft? Well, you don't know what my channel's about, do you? I got all my screenshots. I do my shit because I tell people, you have to understand that the apps need your car. The apps need you. Without that, this rider don't get nowhere. How is the rider going to go somewhere? They're going to find somebody else who don't think themselves as valuable. That's how they're going to do it. Hold your own valuable. And I'm one of these people that if you're doing a line of work from a position of, you're not the one to talk about a strike. I don't know what that dude is saying. I have no idea. Some people can't. I don't know.
I want to read this comment. And I want to ask some questions. I like this. I think it's relevant, but I want to challenge this in this group.
Let's hear it.
These people aren't ready for your energy, Jeff. Jeff brings it. I know. True.
Yeah. I'll say yeah.
No.
I tell motherfuckers on my channel, get off my channel because they ain't ready for that shit.
I've done the same. I cuss too, like you. So I don't hold back, and I got a lot of energy as well. But
yeah,
I think what I want to say to Jay Grand is respectfully. I think just because we got energy, don't necessarily mean that we're right.
Yeah, true.
Jeff can deliver a message, man.
I get down.
You can get down, and people like that energy, and people are attracted to that. That's why your channel's growing, right?
See, but I'm gonna show you something right now. I'm gonna show you because this not even on my channel yet. I'm showing you some shit not even on my channel yet. Last night, I went out last night. I drove about 46 miles. 2 hours, 13 minutes of driving. So for 46 miles, they paid me $175 to drive 46 miles. I don't do $1 a mile ride. That's Lyft. That's Lyft Basic. That's the basic Lyft. So I made $175 for driving 46 miles. I don't do $1 a mile shit, $2 a mile shit. I don't think these people understand you're valuable enough to where these apps will pay you when you stand up for your value. Why do I get paid this, but the next person don't get paid that? The next person can get this, but y'all just got to know how to do it though.
They're accepting, as Sergio from the Rideshare guy says, they're ants, right?
Yeah, true.
Right? And that's not a respectful thing. That's what, people say that.
Yeah.
They're making that, but they're driving 150 miles, not 40 something, right?
Exactly.
And they're not taking home as much money because they burn more fuel, depreciated their vehicle, and they had to either deliver or rideshare more individuals, putting themselves at more risk.
Yeah.
The more risk there is, right?
Exactly.
But what do we, if we're trying to lift up the bottom, you said you want to lift up the pigeons. We want the bottom people. We want the ants not to be ants.
Hold your value, man. Hold your value.
There's always going to be ants. We can't have it in this gig economy. It can't be everybody making the same money.
That's why I said some people need to be employees, not contractors. They don't even know what a contractor is. They think they have to do, I'm scared to decline. I can't decline. I got to keep a high AR. You're not an employee. You're a contractor. Imagine owning a swimming pool company and doing swimming pools for $50. People be using your ass left and right. You build a whole swimming pool for 50 because I got to stay busy. I got to do a swimming pool. No, set your profit margins. You're a contractor. How are you going to do this business? You know what you need to make. I know what I need to make. Set up. But if you tell somebody else, hey, I want you to do a pool for me, but I need you to only charge me $50 for it, I'll say, hell no, because I know my worth. It's going to cost me about $30,000. Okay, so if it's going to cost me 30 grand for all the supplies and all the work I got to hire, and I want to make some money, it's going to take me a month, I might charge you $42,000. So I get $12,000 on it. So therefore, contractors are the same way with rideshare. If you don't set your own profit margins, if you don't know how to do a business, You're going to become an employee and you're going to be struggling. Why do you think so many people in the gig industry are preyed on by payday loan places? Because they know these people are not business minded. They're employee minded. Paid employees live check to check. Contractors stack. And like I said, you can go to my channel for the last 15 months, starting next month. When you see my shit next month, because we had waste management. Last year, I made 3,600 in 5 days. This year, I only made like 2,600 in 5 days, but only worked 3 days. 2,600 in 3 days. And that's not even counting the fucking all the cash I made. But I tell people, when you know what you're doing, you can sit here and comfortably know these apps can't control me. They don't run me. They can't force me to take 50-cent-a-mile rides all day. You can't do me like that because I know my worth already. A lot of people have given up. They've given up. Oh, I got to do what they tell me to do. I can't do that because they're going to kick me off the app. That's a problem. Deactivations are a problem. Like you said, Pedro, deactivations are a problem. One thing we're going to fight is deactivations. The other thing is commercial insurance we're being charged for. We can pay for our own commercial insurance. We don't need them to buy commercial insurance at a 5X rate. They're charging us 5X for commercial insurance that we can get for cheaper. Imagine buying a car from a car lot and them selling you the car lot car insurance instead of you going out and getting your own insurance. They're going to upcharge you.
Yes. To put you in the room. I got my girlfriend that sells State Farm. No, I get it.
There you go. So you know how they upsell insurance.
No, we get that. People when they're desperate, and a lot of people, whether American, migrant, immigrant, people are desperate. A lot of people in this country, even if they're just coming here or if they've been here their whole life, a lot of people are thirsty. Right? You're thirsty. You'll drink whatever, right? It doesn't need to be the best Kool-Aid. Just give me that damn water out the mud. Like, I'll drink it. I'm thirsty.
Exactly.
And we have a lot of that, and that's an issue because the companies do prey on individuals like that. But in your heart, do you think these strikes, these protests? You use the word protest. And I like that. It's more appropriate. But strike, that word strikes actually is still being used more, I think.
Strike is an employee mindset. I told you got a lot of employee mindset people in rideshare. We're not employees. You can't strike if you're a contractor.
Right.
Contractors can protest, but you got a lot of employee-minded people involved in ride-sharing delivery. They still think they work for these companies. That's how fucking shallow this shit is. They still think they're employees. Let's go on strike. Motherfucker, you're not an employee. We trying to snap their ass and wake them up, bro. You at another level of the game now.
It's a more appropriate word, right?
Yeah.
But in your heart, do you think if we continue with the protests, okay, and that word kind of takes over the strike because it is more appropriate. And as customers and consumers understand, like, all right, they're protesting, they're not striking. I didn't know they weren't a W-2. Now I know they're a contractor. They're protesting. The consumer base gets more knowledgeable. The media, politicians, whatever. Like, in your heart, do you think that this is going to make a change? Do you think that the protests will be effective? And how long do you think it will take?
I believe the protests bring forth transparency. Just like when people protest the police brutality and stuff like that, it started forcing transparency. People say, oh, well, you got to wear body cams now, or you got to do this now, or you can't. Once you start protesting, people stop doing stops. When we protest this, rioters are now watching the news. Right? Drivers aren't the only people paying attention to this protest. People who use these services are paying attention to these protests. So now they know what the issues are that they probably never knew before. Many of them will tell you, we didn't know y'all tips was getting stolen. They'll tell you that.
But don't you think protesting somebody being murdered by a cop, and we've seen that in this country in the last, we can name the names, we don't need to, but it's murder. They didn't have a gun, they didn't have a weapon, straight murder, right? So he's gone to jail. That's not the same as a $3 Uber fare. I
didn't say that. I'm just saying a protest is a process. When you protest something, it's a process you're doing to bring attention towards something. I didn't say stealing tips is just like shooting somebody. I never said that. I said protest as far as a process you want to use to bring attention to a topic. You can't strike to bring it. No, so we protest. We stand up for something saying, hey, this is wrong. When people see what wrong is, then they say, oh, we didn't know they were stealing you guys tips. Yeah, there's a $328 million settlement. What? $328 million? These people didn't know none of this because they're not. We do this every day, 24/7. We do this every day. They don't do it. So the protest is bringing attention in ways that the media has to even wake up and say, why are the drivers at the airport not driving? What the hell? They got to talk about it now. And now they got to listen to a driver talk. Instead of listening to drivers talk, what they do, they trying to run with the app stories. Oh, we're going to buy back all of this stock. They knew what they was doing. They playing chess with us right now. They playing chess with us. But the only way they're
playing chess, and it's David and Goliath. I mean, at this point, right?
Yeah, it is David and Goliath.
With Goliath, Goliath needs to have the heart, the energy, the passion, the soul to fight David. Like
a big monster.
And you need, like you say, it's 300, right? 300. Yep. We need, it's starting there. but it's a strong 300. But you're going up against 3 million, right?
But I'm gonna tell you right now, the more I go up against them, and the more I keep my mortgage paid, it means it's working because people are paying me directly. My mortgage is paid every month. My car note gets paid every month. We know rideshare drivers right now being evicted from apartments. We know them. We know them losing their car because it's getting repossessed. We know them.
That's on them. That's not Uber's fault.
Well, it's on,
that's not
like Uber. You said, it's exploitation. Is exploitation a real word, or the exploitation is a word that I just made up? When you exploit somebody, it's psychological. You prey on somebody who you know is vulnerable. These words are all real words. It's true in psychology. You can look up Edward Bernays, Bernays. I talk about Edward Bernays all the time. He's the godfather of propaganda. When you use propaganda to prey and exploit on younger people, all the governments of the world still use this guy's playbook, Edward Bernays. They use this playbook to keep people poor and under control. You can't control people who have freedom, wealth, and rich. You can't control them. So you keep people broke, beaten. It's like you got to beat somebody's soul down. When you look at a domestic violence victim, people's like, well, why don't she just get up and leave? First, she don't even have the soul and the heart to get up and leave. She ain't got the money to leave. She don't even have the path to leave. When you beat up somebody's soul so much that they think you can do them wrong and they got to deal with it, what do you end up with? You end up with broken people. And that's what we stand up for. We stand up for broken people. And it's cool if broken people don't want to stand up. Cool, sit your ass down. I'll stand up for you. I know your knees is weak. I know your heart is weak, but mine ain't. And that's why I'm standing up.
So you're standing up for the people that can't stand up for themselves. I'm kind of
basically
right.
Yeah, people stand up for sex trafficking all the time, but you don't see. Oh, people need to stop standing up for sex trafficking. People need to stop. What? They're victims though. These people are victims of sex trafficking. They're vulnerable people. They're trying to come to America for like a whole new like lifestyle, and what happens? They get taken advantage of. They get exploited. We see it all the time.
Would you say most drivers are exploited?
I would say many, not most, because many have already done this before rideshare came along.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say most, but many are. And many have commercial insurance because many do things with their big ass trucks. They got Mercedes van. My girl Megan, she got a big ass Mercedes fucking van. She drive around $2,000-$3,000 a pop in that Mercedes van. She don't rely on Uber and Lyft. She still does Uber and Lyft in her 4Runner and everything, but she's got a big van.
I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of what I've never understood, and I want to get your perspective because obviously you're making money on the side, like your own, like you're stacking cash off books.
Yeah.
Right? So why talk about it? What I never understood is like there's other channels, more so in the DoorDash community, because I'm not the rideshare community and food delivery there's a lot of separation there because not rideshare and a lot of people watch rideshare, don't watch DoorDash content and vice versa, right?
True. In
the DoorDash community, right, I got a little bit of a pulse on what's going on, and I see a lot of people make videos talking about DoorDash is the worst. It's app slavery. We've seen these words, the videos tossed around. It's the worst company.
Yeah.
Is it not Bedrock? What's the
delivery is a lot different. Delivery is a lot different.
Delivery is different, but this is my point. So I would see these people talk about the company like it's bad and they hate it and it's slavery, but they would still work the apps. So my question to you is why do you do Uber and Lyft still if you've got the off books? Like why work for a company if it's that bad?
That's why I do it, to save people, not only to save people money, to make me money too. Because if you look at it from an economic standpoint, people have said that companies like Uber and Lyft are destroying the economy. They're coming into neighborhoods that are already low advantage neighborhoods, low at-risk neighborhoods, taking the funds out, never putting the funds back. We've said that about Nike before. Nike coming in, taking out the black athletes, not putting money back in. These apps are no different. They're corporate people in suits, thugs, sitting in the office, finding ways to get in neighborhoods where people don't have money. People have to get around and do things. They're extracting the income out of it. We always talk about the black dollar all the time, the black dollar community, and we need to have people who represent us if we spending our money with you. Uber and Lyft don't represent a lot of people. They come in, they extract the money out, they leave it all dilapidated. No reinvestment back into that community. I reinvest back into the community because I live in these communities. So if somebody across the street rather paid me $50 instead of giving the apps $100, guess what? That 50 is going to be spent back in my community. But they'll pay the app $100. I might get 22 out of it. Now I only have 22 to put back in my community.
Oh no, I get it. I mean, in theory, that's the way it should be. It's very hard at that point. And this, now everybody's just so inundated with the luxuries of this, the quickness of this. They don't want to give somebody money off the books. They might not even have cash. A lot of Americans don't carry cash.
Yeah,
the platform's easy because it's all digital. But I get the points, right? I mean, what do you think we're going to get to a point where the companies will be more transparent. That seems to be the number one thing on a lot, even in the food delivery. Do you think we'll get to the point that that's going to happen? And if it does, will it have to come through legislation? And do you want some kind of legislation?
Oh, no. I'm like, little government, man. I'm not big government. The bigger the government, the bigger the problems, man. Keep government out of independent contracting work. Just keep them out of it. But let us fight the apps.
Don't you think the protests are going to lead to more Seattle legislation, Prop 22, New York City?
I hope not. I hope not.
I think
really, because I don't want that in Arizona. What they got, because I'll tell you right now, we can look at all the drivers in Seattle, all the drivers who have legislation now. Did it fix their problems? No. All it did was it put icing on top of a cake that was half baked any fucking ways. So it's like, if you want this to be a true gig, let us fight for our dollars. There's customers. This customer needs a ride from point A to point B. That's it. The app is a marketing tool. The app doesn't do a single ride. We do the ride. But if I say I'm willing to do this ride for $45, like that one guy, that 4-hour drive, paying a driver $165. If I said to the app, I'm willing to do this ride, but it's going to cost $350. The app should say, okay, we got Jeff willing to do it for $350. Pedro says, oh, I'll do it for $275. Okay, Pedro saying $275. We got, Daryl saying, I'll do it for $400. So now the app has a bargaining chip now.
It's a bid. We're independent contract. We're negotiating.
Exactly. So we should be able to bid. If you're bidding and you're able to make money and you're doing it, now you're true contracting. A contractor bids. Employees don't fucking bid. They say, hey, man, we're going to pay you $20 an hour. You say, okay. And you just do work for $20 an hour. I say we should have a right to say, this is my car. It's very nice. This is my level of service. This is my music. This is what I do. It might be worth more, but the app will say, we'll give you the Uber Black XL at this price, but we're going to give you the Ford Taurus at this price. The app sets your bid. They shouldn't be able to set our bid. We should be able to negotiate and set our own bid. Tell this rider how much we're getting out of that deal. And I bet they say, I just want to pay the driver straight up. That's all they want to say. I'll pay the driver. Because if y'all going to charge me $120 to leave the concert, but this driver saying he only take $80 to leave the concert, I'd rather pay him the $80. I don't want to pay the $120.
How do we get the app? Do you think the app interface would look like that to where a customer can see Jeff, Pedro, and Steve and the prices that those drivers set for the night? Like, and the app can, how does the app even get to that point? Like, is that even
for a lot of us, we tell people stop taking the shit rides, decline them all. My AR on Lyft is like maybe 2 or 3%. So how am I sitting at 2 or 3%, but I'm making almost $80, $90 an hour and I'm declining rides all day? Because if I'm declining it, the pigeons are taking it. That means that one's off the board. Okay, next ride. That I decline it. Pigeon takers off the board. Next, so their time is all sold up with the shit rides. So what's left? Bro, I'll tell you a couple of my rides I did last night just for the hell of it. Because like I said, I haven't even done this content on my channel, and we do ride share. I'm going to be transparent and tell you what I made. I did 3 rides last night on Uber, and I made $87 and like, what was it? An hour, 37 minutes of being online. But let me go to one of my rides. Here's a ride here. That was $24, 5 minutes, 1.8 miles, but it was an $18 surge. Here's one, $45 for 12 miles, 17 minutes, $28 surge, $5.73 tip. This one's $18, 2.4 miles, $7 tip, $6.25 surge. I only drive with surge because I have that choice. Right. If I'm a contractor and I want to say I'm looking for $28 surges, $18 surges. I'm not driving for base fare because I think my car, it's a BMW. I want to be paid. If they want to pay me $12 a mile, $24 for like 3 miles, I'd rather take that than taking $3, $4 all day. I'm not going to get nowhere doing that. So drivers out there have to realize when you take shit rides, they're going to give them to you because the algorithm is learning you. The algorithm says a level of tolerance.
I agree. We got to have standards. Know your worth. Sergio says that. You've got the shirt you got on. But what? Let me ask you this, and I want to bring up a couple people. Do you have a little time? Because I got a couple people.
I got a little time. You good? You good?
I think they're on your side on this, and I want to bring them in the fold and get their opinion. But
you cool?
Why, Jeff? Why are we pandering to the weak, man? I mean, you want to be a voice for them that bad? Like, why are we giving them? Why are we taking from our money and the people that figured it out and giving them? Why are we doing that? Why are we trying to level the playing field?
It's just like asking people, why do we have a Goodwill? Why do we have a Salvation Army? Why do we have churches? Why do we have philanthropists? Why do we have people that have so much money they could just say, fuck everybody, I'm going to go ball out of control? Some people got a heart. That's what it boils down to. Some people don't. Some people got a soul. Some people will blow your brains out right where you sit. Some people won't. Sure. I don't have it in me. Everybody know me. I'm a gun owner. I've always been a gun owner my whole life. I don't think I have the heart in me to shoot somebody. You have to really get me to the point to where I have to shoot somebody. I don't even think if it came to me, I could do it, because my heart is, I'm looking at this person as a human. I'm like, I could be killing somebody's dad right in front of me, man. He's probably wondering where his dad went to. Got to do some birthday shit tomorrow. I got kids, so I feel shit like that. So I'm not one of those people who just can look at somebody struggling and suffering and say, oh yeah, I'm not taking care of these people. Fuck these people. I'm moving on. But we do have people like that. I'm just not one of them.
Let me ask you this question. And I see SKM, I see Hoodie Smurf. I'm going to bring them up. We do that in this country, right? We have government assistance programs. Growing up, I stood in government cheese lines in Chicago. I remember.
Yeah, facts.
Block of cheese. Like, we did that. And we did it when we needed it. But do you think that do you think sometimes when we help too much, it can be at a deficit of those individuals, the people that are helping, because they'll just stay there and they get comfortable?
Well, you got destructive help and you got constructive help. You got to look at both ways they're set up. Constructive help is like having workshops. Destructive help is giving somebody with bad money management more money. Right. That's destructive help. So you got to have more workshops.
Isn't that what we're doing with the gig drivers? We'd be giving them more money and they're bad at money.
No, but see, we do workshops on my channel. All my live streams ain't nothing but workshops. Think about it, man. The way we talk, the way we work, the way we show our stuff. When I show my ride-alongs, that's a workshop. If you watch my workshops, you're going to say, damn, so he is declining everything and he's still banging out good rides. How the hell is this dude making like $60, $70 an hour and he ain't taking no fucking rides? I'm sitting there Jack in the Box, just letting the ants take all the little shit. And what's left? $18 surge pops up. Why? Because they done chased everybody out. So now I got money. Rerun workshops all the time on our channels. People don't look at them as workshops. They look, oh, this is a video. Motherfucker, this ain't no cat video. This is a workshop. It's like, if you can't see, when I went to workshops for accounting, I used to come to Arizona. I lived in Vegas. We would fly all of our accountants out to Scottsdale and we do workshops 3-4 days. So I'm used to doing time management workshops, financial accounting workshops, auditing workshops. Workshops is when you get together, like-minded people trying to go forward and y'all talk about it. This is what we do on my channel. We don't sit around all day bragging on shit. We try to help those that, man, I need some help, man. I can't figure it out. What's going on? I'm like, dude, I can help you drive 46 miles and make $175. I can help you do it.
No, that's great. I've helped, a lot of people as well with the food delivery game, trying different programs. Maybe they work for you. No tip, no trick. Make sure you're respecting yourself, like miles to money, profitability. Look at how long it's going to take you, because sometimes the miles aren't all equal. We all do these workshops.
Yeah, right.
I think we have channels that have these workshops, and I like that because we're able to uplift some of the people that need a little bit of a guidance or an opinion, some motivation, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that enough? Do we need to continue getting the media so where then if we get more media, we're getting legislation, bro? I'm telling you right now, it's gonna.
I don't think so.
Get a hold of this. Politicians are gonna be like, damn, this gay community is 6 million strong. These people are mad. Oh, I want them votes. That's what the politicians are gonna do. And then legislation, and then it's going to be, I don't know.
Legislation is going to cap our earnings, I believe. Legislation will cap your earnings.
It will. So that's my point. So
we just need riders to know, riders out there who are using our services as drivers, that 120 you paying ain't coming to me.
Oh yeah. Well, that more riders are going to know. I'm going to bring on a couple of these guys. They've been waiting for a while.
You good. Keep running your workshops over here, brother. Keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. You're helping people.
I appreciate that. Stay with us, though. I want to bring these guys up, okay?
Okay, I'll listen in.
All right. So SKM, how you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome. How are you guys?
SK.
I'm good.
What's good?
Hey, I'm an Arizona native as well.
Is Hoodie?
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Okay, I stick to the deliveries. I tried Lyft, and I never got into the ride share with Uber, but Lyft, I tried it. I know exactly what you're talking about, Mike. Our barbecue. What do you go by?
I'm just Jeff. That's all.
Jeff. Okay. Cool,
Everybody call me Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
Exactly. My name's Jeff.
Yeah. So I tried the Lyft. There's like you were saying earlier. I don't understand how you're doing it right now. That's impressive with the numbers that you're pulling up right now. But there's so much liability, like all around it, all in general. I mean, like, from people shit shitting in your car, throwing up in your car, you know, and
I got those videos, man. My back seat's all oily and shit. I
took a stripper that I should have just kicked out,
glitter,
and dropped her off at her next destination or her next corner.
Exactly.
But that was when I was done with it. But I've been doing deliveries ever since. And
so, hold on, SKM, hold on. I don't want us to get too off track. So, protest, striking. We're going to call it protest because Jeff's here.
Yeah.
What is your stance on it? I'm hoping that you are pro protest because that's what I'm looking for here, right?
So, see, with me, I see both sides of it. So I understand the protests. You know, I'll be all for it. But see, I'm also a realist, you know, and I see that it's not going to work. They've already done it before in the past. The comment that you actually highlighted my comment earlier, and that's part of why I came on. And, you know, literally the only way you're going to beat a software is if you do something like GameStop. You know, everybody knows about what happened with GameStop, and they, you know, had the trust fund guys lose all their money. Yeah. The only way literally we could do this, and I find it really hard to do because not everybody's on YouTube. Not all these drivers that we're driving next to and picking up food orders with are watching your guys' videos or everybody else's videos.
People that
so we're not reaching everybody out there that's actually doing the gig work. Yeah. And, you know, literally we would all literally have to go online at the same time, all communicate somehow together in the same room, and literally say, hey, no accepting anything, not one single one. And I guarantee you their app and everything will just explode because their pending box will just overload with orders that no drivers are taking. And they're going to be so confused. So that's really the only way I think possible that there could be any kind of real protest and real, I guess you could say, damage or damage control that, you know, I mean, and if you really wanted the media to chase after it, that's one. I mean, the media needs help right now. That's for sure. They're losing tons of views. And
Skim, and I'm going to say one thing, because you're delivery and we're rideshare. It's harder for delivery drivers to get private clients than it is for rideshare.
Exactly.
Because delivery, I mean, you have to know who's about to eat dinner, who's hungry. It's hard to know that. Whereas with rideshare, we go to a spot in an event. It's all people standing outside, phones in their hands. We know it's surging like crazy, $25. We know everybody's getting charged $120. So the moment we roll up, like on my ride along the other day, I show people, I'm dropping somebody off downtown. Dude rolls up to me, hey man, $20 real quick. I just got to go around. Cool, let's go. We get that all the time. It's harder to do in delivery. That's why delivery don't understand. If you only do pure delivery, you've never done rideshare, you won't understand how we get money unless you watch our videos and see how we get money. I see one guy going, 2,600 in 3 days is crazy. Bro, I got a video that's been sitting on my channel since last year. I did 3,600 in 5 days. The videos are there. You don't understand rideshare, bro. If you're looking at delivery and only delivery, we get people walking up to our cars all the time. We get people in our cars upset about how much they're paying. With delivery, all they do is just don't tip you. They just don't tip you. That's how they pay back.
It's definitely, if anything, your higher earnings in the gig economy probably definitely be some Uber and Lyft drivers that are putting heavy work in. You could do that on the food delivery side. It's going to be, you got to deliver a lot more McDonald's than people, you know, it's just, I want to bring in Hoodie. I want to bring Hoodie on this conversation. What do you think about protests? What do you think about this conversation? Add some value to the
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
We can hear you, brother.
I just want to say thanks for having me on. You know, I didn't even know Mr. Uber Lyft Jeep AZ guy. I just randomly came across a video. I think it was like a month or 2 months ago. And all it said was, you know, protest Valentine's Day. And it wasn't about me. You know, protesting wasn't about me doing something for myself. It was about somebody else is in a situation where they are being done wrong. A lot of other people express their issues and their feelings where they feel like they're being done wrong. Yeah. So, yeah, I know I could have gone out there Valentine's Day, you know, and done some numbers, but I'm the type of person, if there's somebody out there who says they need me to do something to help them, and all I got to do is just take a day off, okay, I'm gonna do it. Because let me tell you something: if you don't think that these companies and these, other people involved in this economy and in this process that we have here, in this commercial process that we have in this country and around the world, if you don't think that they're working together and colluding together, basically doing the same thing to try to ensure their wellness,
sure,
you need to wake up. It's all around you.
Yeah.
So lot of people.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate that perspective. So do you think this protest strike was effective? Do you look at it as a positive, right?
You said, do I think it's a positive?
Yeah. Do you think this last one this week was effective? Do you look back at it, you taking your day off, as a positive, like it was a good thing?
Well, I mean, I personally do. I haven't looked, to be honest with you, I haven't looked at what the outcomes were. I didn't look to see how much media attention it got. All I knew is that I saw, the video for Uber, Lyft, Jeep AZ, and I don't even follow him. I'd never even seen one of his videos. It just popped up on my feed.
Yeah.
It was him and another guy. I can't remember the name. And all I said was, you know what? If they're feeling like it's something that's going wrong, then I'm going to do my part. So I'm not, whether it was positive or not, all I know is I did my part. So, and that's positive for me. That's enough.
Yeah. And see, and I'm also follow up what Hoodie said or whatever. Just like we do prison reform, and we speak for people in prison while we're free. Like, a lot of us have never been to prison, but we always talk about the injustice system, the way things are going in courts. We protest all of that stuff, even though none of us are even in. I don't have any issues with the law, but when it comes time to protest the injustice that's being done against those people that do have issues in courts or in jails, we all stand up for people that can't stand up for themselves. I don't understand how somebody can say, I don't want to stand up for nobody. There's no way you can take this universe on by yourself. No way possible. The power bill you got was fought for. Otherwise, the government would just be like, charge people whatever power you want to charge them. How many times do we hear about people complaining about how much they're getting charged for power bills, gas in the winter and stuff like that? People are always protesting something out there.
No, so, that's definitely, I would say, in America, like, that's our right. We have that freedom to protest things. If you're doing it peacefully, the police say, hey, it's your right, you could, and that's fine. Like, that is what we need to continue that stuff. I've just always thought there's some of the other things that you mentioned, Jeff, about protests, things like that have happened in this country, still going on today. To me, those are the things I get behind. I guess my brain can't formulate why we're trying to say we're independent. We want the freedom and flexibility. We want to make cash on the side, off the book, all these great things, but then we're also acting like employees. Some of the videos I saw some from the ride. They were doing a live broadcast. Yeah. And this woman said she got deactivated 12 times.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
Yeah, hold on for a second. I want you guys to give me 1 minute. She's lying. I think there's a psychology behind some individuals that protest, and they get together, they embellish, they lie, they want attention. And I saw that this week, and I looked at that as a negative. It made us look weak.
Yeah, that's in every group. You're going to find people like that in every group.
It's in every group. So I think we have protesters or strikers that are very strong. They're measured. They have a clear, decisive message backed with facts and not emotion. But I think there are a lot of emotional drivers. And when you're trying to impact change and you're leading with emotion, that's not. I think usually that's not going to work. I saw some of that this week. Made me look like.
I mean, but if you say you're leading for change and you're emotional and it won't work, but yet you celebrate Martin Luther King Day, you know what I'm saying? He was an emotional leader who led with his heart, and you saying it didn't lead to change? Well, it depends.
That's different.
Yeah, but the thing is, everybody want to talk about so many things being different, but you don't look at the psychology behind human nature. Things that humans do. Oh, well, that's different. Hey, working on the car is different from me working in the office. So you being a mechanic is different from me being a school teacher. It's all different. Everything's going to be different because nothing is the same. One thing is the same. You're human. You got common sense. You know that you can make waves in some if you stand up and you fight for yourself. You know, if you don't fight for yourself, people gonna walk over you like a doormat. Those things remain constant across all boards. So everyone else talking about, oh, that's different. That's different. That's different. What's the same? You stay a doormat, people, if you can be in a relationship with somebody, if you allow yourself to get cheated on 50 times, they're gonna keep doing it. They ain't gonna change. Sure. If you allow yourself to get played in rideshare, they ain't gonna change. The moment you stand up is when change starts. So I don't care about, well, that's the same. This is not on topic. A lot of these people are tunnel vision, shallow-minded. They don't have universal wisdom. They're stuck in employee mindset.
Well, no, I think I can see that you have more of a universal wisdom. But my point was when I was looking at the content, and I'm gonna say this, and it will rub some wrong. It will rub some people the wrong way. I have to keep it a buck. My eyes, the optics for me.
Yeah,
was I saw a lot of weak people, and that I think is a negative for us. We need somebody else that's a little more measured and a little more strong leading. I see a lot of people crying.
But how do you define weak though?
I think if somebody goes on a live and says they were deactivated 12 times, that's a weak person. They're looking for sympathy.
I don't know how you can get deactivated 12 times. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I ain't see that. That's just crazy.
I have a hard time just getting deactivated once.
Yeah,
exactly. I keep thinking I'm gonna get deactivated.
Yeah,
coming for me sometime soon. I think this year, but I'm, it is what it is. It almost might be a blessing in disguise.
Yep.
Okay, but I just want to say about that lady who got deactivated 12 times.
Yeah.
Like nobody on this chat or on this video can say 100% that she's lying. That's true. Like why do people automatically just assume that somebody's lying? Maybe she is, maybe she's not. Nobody knows. I can tell you firsthand. I used to do rideshare, okay, and she's in South California. I did it in Georgia, which is basically Hollywood 2.0. I can see, given that Uber started in 2009, perhaps she's been doing this for a long time. I don't know. But yeah, I could definitely see a situation where it's possible somebody could have been deactivated 12 times because people are crazy. You know what I'm saying? It might not be as crazy in y'all's markets, but in this market, especially in this little fake Hollywood place, people are crazy. But the point is, like, don't discredit somebody when you don't even have all the facts. Okay? If you just say, I don't think so, that's fine, but like don't just discredit somebody because then you're just shutting somebody's argument down and really that's where ignorance comes from.
Sure, I can agree with that.
Why would you want to promote ignorance? Like y'all got platforms. I don't really have a YouTube platform, but y'all got platforms. If y'all really want to know, reach out to that lady. See what the story is, because maybe she telling the truth or maybe she get exposed. But until you do that, you're not really contributing anything except for negative energy to what could be a bad situation for somebody.
I'll be the one that maybe I'm throwing out negativity. I'm good with that because that woman's not telling the truth, and I gotta call shit out. So, and if I go down with that, I'll take the channel down. If she could bring me receipts, I'll take the fucking channel down. She's lying. So sometimes you don't have to know 100% to call bullshit out. Because you're right. We don't know each other. We're not in each other's bank accounts. We're not this. But if I come on here and say, I worked yesterday and made $1,000, it'd be a fair assumption to say that I'm lying, right? That's a fair thing to say, right?
Unless you can prove it, yeah.
Unless I can prove it, right?
Transparency.
But if people are like, that's cap, I would have to take that because it's such an unrealistic thing, right?
Yeah.
So for me, calling it out just pinpoints the weak, like.
And you know me, I love when people say that's cap because that means I got a new viewer because I'm gonna show, hey, go to this video. That's cap. Go to this video. Sure. That's cap. Go to this video because motherfuckers don't like when you got a video already online proving exactly what you saying. They don't like that. Oh, ain't no way you can do that. I got a video online. Go to my search box, type it in. They be like, oh, well, I thought. Yeah, exactly. I love when people say that's cap because that boosts my views on YouTube.
Oh, listen, I want to do Q, man. No, I get it. Chris, welcome to the show. I want to get your take on this that's coming from Australia, right? Where some things are similar, but the food delivery and other games are very, very different. What do you think about what you heard about the protest strike? What do you think about the conversation? Add some value to the show, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. So I watched the protest or strike, depending how people wanted to phrase it over there. I saw people saying protest, people saying strike. Very similar mindset. You know, you can't strike if you're a contractor. It doesn't make any sense. Australia's a bit of a different kettle of fish over here. So we were recently legislated nationwide. So the politicians got involved. They've legislated everything in gig work now. So we can't strike or protest anymore. The gig companies have zero interest in us because, and it's super simple, the way that the government's done their widespread legislation around it is saying, well, if you have a grievance now, you can go to Fair Work, which is an organisation in the government, as a driver, as a union, as a lobbyist, as a company even, DoorDash, deliveries, they can go to these Fair Work organisations essentially, and you lodge your grievance. So now that avenue's opened up, as a driver, there's no point striking or protesting because the companies will just turn around and say, well, you know, why should we change anything when you have this avenue now? And anything that we change or put in place, all it takes is one driver to go in and it overrules everything that we put in place. So we're not going to waste our time, our resources doing this. We're going to sit back and see what comes through. So when I hear striking, protesting, all that kind of stuff over in the States, and I think I did a video on it, you know, it's not going to work. And the biggest reason why it's not going to work is you have no one at the table. You need someone at the table with these companies sitting there going, cool, this for this specific company. If you don't have someone at the table talking about it, nothing's going to change. And the most basic thing, and this is what I put when I was doing my fight, I was against legislation in Australia because it was being driven by a union. And I was like, just tell me one thing. How much per hour or how much per active hour do you want drivers to get in this country? And the politicians and the union couldn't give a single figure or a number. So same in America. If you want someone at the table talking, they need to have a consensus between drivers. They need to be able to say, this is exactly specific line what drivers want. Now, when it came to the strikes as well in the States, was New York striking? Was California striking? Was Seattle striking? Because they got legislation passed recently. They got what they want, or they got what they thought they want, or maybe some people are against that legislation changes that occurred. But when you strike or when you protest, are you truly asking, I want legislation in my state? This is a per state, per city thing that you guys are going for. So it's either, do you want federal legislation? Because that's going to open a whole can of worms. So you've got conflicting legislation in California, in New York, in Seattle. It's going to go through all kinds of jam-ups in politics. You've got to have a hellfire getting that through. So it comes down to per state, which politicians want them votes, because they're the guys you need to be talking at the table or pushing to get at the table with these companies. That's my take. That's my say on it.
Chris, I appreciate that. We definitely need a seat at the table. I made a video a couple weeks ago talking about that, and I was like, I called Jeff. I was like, put Jeff on the table. And like, you know, Torsten.
Shit. Torsten. Don't put me up there. Put Torsten.
It could be somebody. And like I said, if DoorDash wants, I'll fly out on my own dime. I'll sit down with Tony for a week. I won't make no money. Let's talk about the real issues. Let's make a balanced decision for the merchant, the customer, us, and, you know, it has to work for everybody, right?
Yeah.
We go in there asking for everything because at some point, you know, it's unrealistic. But yeah, a seat at the table, Chris, Jeff, SKM, Hoodie, that's definitely what we need.
That's what I'd say all the time. Yep.
But this guy, Mr. Uber or Mike Drop Barbecue, he already said it's a step in the process. And that's like people keep on saying it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Okay, you have no proof that it's not gonna work, but it's a step in the process. I feel like the majority of people in the society are so used to thinking that you got to have all of the eggs in the basket, all of the gears going and everything that you need in order to get started. No, you just got to start. You don't like, first of all, this country allegedly was started on protest. Okay. And if you don't think, like, don't y'all think that it was some folks way back in the 18th century that was like, you know what? I'm kind of cool with the United Kingdom screwing us on all of these taxes and everything. You know, I don't want to cause no trouble. So I'm just going to chill with it. But it was some other folks that was just like, I'm not cool with getting, stuck with all these taxes and stuff like that. So I'm about to protest. And that's what
Boston Tea
happened. So
Party.
how can you tell somebody else that their protest is not going to work? Like, if you just don't believe it, say I don't believe in it, but don't tell somebody that it's
Exactly.
not going to work, because that's not helping. It's
Oh,
truckers,
they can say it.
right? It's a whole slew of truckers right now that's about to start protesting all across the country, particularly in New York, because they don't feel, for their political reasons. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm not telling them it's not going to work. I don't know what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like, understand that this country was built on protests. We are here because of protests. If you don't believe in it, say that you don't believe in it. But stop
And I
telling
tell people all
protest,
the time.
every protest had a leader. If you look back through history, there was always a figurehead there, the one speaking out, and then sure people rolled up behind them and stuff like that. I guess my point here is that you need someone to kind of lead there, be at the table. Protest, of course, but have someone speaking. When you have people screaming, emotional, upset on social media, on news and stuff like that, and they're not actually saying specifically what they want from this protest. Without that figurehead saying specifically what we want, the protest is just a lot of noise.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people,
now
like I
you're
said,
an expert in protesting, basically. Is that what's going on?
no, he's saying exactly what I was about to say. If you don't have demands, what are you protesting for? I mean, you can't just protest because you're just mad, just want to feel like yelling because you're not making enough money. What are the demands you need set to say, we need to have things about deactivations. We need investigation before deactivation, not deactivate, then investigate. They got that backwards. We don't need government involved in our mess. We're independent contractors. It's a capitalist economy. We need states out there to allow us to buy our own commercial insurance. The apps allow us to choose our own commercial insurance instead of paying for their upgraded commercial insurance so we can make money on our own if need be. They're nothing but a marketing tool. These apps are a marketing tool. They are not rideshare itself. They find rides for people like us so we can do something. We should be able to go out and find our own rides, do our own thing with nobody going, oh. But yet, if you do it on the app, you got to come up with $2,500 if you hit somebody. A lot of drivers don't even have $2,500. The moment they hit somebody, they're screwed and they don't even realize it yet because nobody's talking about it. So many drivers that have happened to already. They banged into somebody, their insurance won't touch it. Go to Uber, go to Lyft. Uber and Lyft are saying, you got $2,500? No, sorry. You can rent from us then. These are the problems we have while we're protesting. This is why we fight.
I know some people ask what is, like, Pedro, I know you said a bunch of times, what is the next step, or what are we going to do? So yeah, there could be a seat at the table, but there's something that Mike Drop Barbecue said that is inherently a solution. Competition is what's really going to draw people and get some things changing. Like, from an economic standpoint, competition is really what starts changing the game. And as he was talking about how he's doing his own thing and how people are out there doing their own thing, even with delivery, like, it's people out there that are doing their own delivery business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Catering too.
And if people realize, like, yeah, it is a tougher task. You don't have the benefit of just opening an app and letting it go, but it's something that can happen. And people are protesting now, but I foresee in the future people are going to start doing their own things and introducing competition. So if these companies don't want that additional competition, perhaps they need to ease up on some of these things that people are saying they need to have, such as transparency and fairness, such as a more fair review system, things like that.
Yeah, true.
Let me ask you a question, then I'm going to open up, like, three people, Kevin, Gig Bell Tolls, and Roy. Do you think, just logically, if we continue, well, the protests are going to continue. That's not just going to stop, right? You can't stop now that the momentum's kind of going. You can't stop. Now we have, these guys are going to have to go full tilt, right? And I think Torsten's probably ready for that. Jeff's going to continue to talk about it, and many other people talk about it. This is going to continue. There's going to be more media. Something's going to happen. I hope nobody gets hurt at one of these things, because that'll really.
That's what I've been saying. Yeah.
But you're going to start putting more people together. The likelihood,
Somebody's going to embed themselves in a protest to try to turn it to something it's not.
Do something, and that's gonna. Then we're gonna get. It's gonna be bad, right?
Yeah.
But let's just say that doesn't happen. Knock on wood. Don't you think the protests are going to lead to legislation, and it's going to lead to more of a W-2 employee model overall, and it's going to be forced?
I don't, unless you ask for it, and I don't think we're asking for that. We're just asking for the apps. The apps need to have more transparency with these riders. These are business transactions with a lot of hidden information and data in there right now.
Right.
I mean,
but that's the problem. But see, let me speak on that. That's the problem. That's the problem. You're not asking for it. The legislators are the ones that are going to make it happen. And we all know once government gets involved in something, they go balls to the wall. They're not going to stop at what you want. They're going to stop at what they want. And so what you're asking for, yes, maybe, but chances are they're going to go way above and beyond. And because you're going to have those candy ass fucking drivers out here that are going to come in and say, okay, now I want everything. And you're going to have more of the candy ass drivers asking for everything versus the people like you that want specifics. And
I agree with that, Roy. And that's the thing. I haven't heard any politicians talking about it right now. But Roy's right. Once you open up the door, people are going to want to take advantage of the work of everybody else laid. You're going to have some lazy ass, candy ass people wanting everything.
The door, we have to open the door to get at the table. And if we're going to get at the table, you either need a union representative or a politician. Right? So, and once we go down this path of the continued protests and strike, voices heard, voices heard is a great thing. But I'm telling you, in order for us to get transparency, like New York City, like Seattle, where you see the upfront tip, you see, in order to get that, legislation has, right? So, and that's my whole point is we might have these small wins, right? And get some things, but at the end of the day, the end game is going to be overall negative, in my opinion. And that's what
I think the apps can help people out a lot by lowering that deductible from $2,500 down to $100 or $200 if you wreck your car. Nobody's got $2,500 laying around if they wreck on the app. It's just not happening. It's not happening.
Then they shouldn't be doing the app. Plain and simple. If you can't afford to
play,
do you
don't know how many people don't have $2,500 right now?
But if you can't afford to play the game, don't play the game. That's
a lot of people that's gonna have to stop tomorrow then, or right now.
Guess what? Those people that stop tomorrow means more money in your pocket because you got what it takes to do the job properly. This is the problem we have. Too many people want to defend these candy asses that want to come out here and do this, but they don't have what it takes to do it in the first place.
Amen.
That's the problem. Why are we bound down these candy ass people? Oh, just so you know, Jeff, nice to meet you. All the independent employees in the chat, howdy. I did Lyft for 3 years in Vegas, 12,500 rides. So I can speak on that. But yeah, that's the problem. We're trying to stick up for all these candy asses that don't want to go and take the steps. Anybody can save up $2,500. If you can't save up $2,500, then you need to redo your finances. You are a corporate, accountant, so you need to learn to do your accounting properly. So if you do have that incident, it's just like how many candy asses don't even have the money to fix their brakes? I
talk about that all the time. Bumpers and shit hanging off.
So, these are the people we're fighting for. We got the good people, Pedro, all these other gentlemen, I'm sure, out here busting our ass, doing what it takes to get it done right. And then we're sticking up for these candy asses that just want to sit back and have shit given to them. And that's the problem. And that's the biggest problem.
Oh, I believe you, Roy, man. Like I said, I talk about the same things about driving around, seeing cars with bumpers and shit duct taped and hanging on and stuff like this and that. They don't want to. Tonight, I was supposed to do wheel bearings on my car. I did brakes for another Uber driver the other day. I did all 4 of his rotors on his car. We put money up because we got to have money to do this job. If you can't afford to do this business, it's going to be a hard business to make a living in.
That's what I'm saying. We're all pigeons at one point. Then we figure out where the good food is. We lift some weights. We become big birds. Why are we looking at the pigeons that can't figure it out for themselves and we're giving them?
That's why most of us run our channels the way we run it. We run like workshops on our channel. Basically, Pedro, you run workshops. Anybody who got a YouTube channel who talks about how to do this, you guys are literally running workshops without even realizing what you're doing. You're helping people.
And you know why? A lot of these people, Pedro, don't want to go out and become the big bird because they got that W-2 mentality. That's why they ask for all this shit in the first place. So they've never been in a position to become a big bird, because they don't have the mentality of what it takes to be a big bird. They're just more happy sitting in the background, hoping, like the regular employee at, let's say, a restaurant, the dishwasher guy, hoping that somebody's going to speak up for him and say, hey, I think the dishwasher needs a raise. That's the kind of mentality that probably 80, 75% of these drivers
You're not
have.
wrong. You're not wrong.
They just want to sit back and be handed everything. And everybody up here has been successful doing what they're doing because they did what it took. They learned, they did what it took to do it the right way versus crybaby. Let me go out and stand out inside it. And I've seen it. I've seen the bullshit. I've seen people at the airport lot here in Vegas cooking hot dogs on a barbecue grill, just sitting there. I've seen this shit. So these are the kind of people we're sticking up for. They're having barbecues in the bum lot at fucking Vegas airport.
Roy is stupid. He said they barbecue hot dogs and shit at the airport. That's fucked up. You lying. You lie. I ain't never seen no shit like that.
Yeah, bro. I've seen it.
But man, he right though, man. And it's like a lot of us, we've done the work to say this is how you have to do it. You guys got to listen, and we teach people how to stand up for themselves, how to fight for these dollars. Because if you don't fight for these dollars, like the app screwed a lot of us. They took Lux off the platform. A lot of us was Lux drivers. We don't do that no more. So we had to find a new way to keep making money. And these apps will suck you in. Hey, go out and buy this nice ass car. As soon as you get it, guess what? No Lux platform. People get sucked into that all the time. So now we got to fight to get money to pay off these expensive cars, and we're not getting the rates for these expensive cars no more. So what do? We fight. We go in, we fight for that money.
There's a good point to raise, so and I don't think we've really touched base on it. We're talking about good drivers out there right now. People doing good driving, good the right thing, but there are thousands, tens of thousands of terrible drivers out there, and this legislation is to pull them up. There's drivers sitting around there filling up their boot with car for their food in a car for an hour. Still going cold. Customers getting pissed off. The companies are paying out refunds to these customers. Companies are losing money from these guys. There's drivers that screw up drop-offs. There are drivers who struggle to get the basics of the job done right. And this is where legislation would pull these drivers up to a basic or fair pay compared to what a good driver would be doing. Should we be having these changes and these protests to pull up these bad drivers, or should there be more stuff from companies or more checks and balances to remove the bad drivers who are costing the companies money, costing us money? There's only so much money in the driver pool and the budgets for these companies. Yeah. And if they're wasting all this excess money on terrible drivers out there, why do we deserve a pay raise when we still have so many bad drivers out there doing? And
I'll speak on that as well. This is the problem, you guys. This is what ends up Excuse me. I'm trying not to curse. I got the party.
Go Roy. Fuck that. Go Roy.
You're at the wrong party, buddy.
I'm Australian, Roy.
Okay. No cursing.
We're past the cursing stage.
Okay, fuck it then. I'm gonna curse.
Go for it. Do Roy.
Just don't be stealing my lingo. We're cool.
Don't worry, I'll do it.
And this is what Chris is talking about. That's what fucks us up because the people that have actually took the time, busted their ass, learned, and making the big money that we're making, we're trying to push these ding dongs up. And at the end of the day, pushing these ding dongs up are gonna fuck our money up because now we're being legislated or we're being pushed into something we didn't want because we bust our ass and we do it the right way. But because we got these ding dongs here that just want to sit back and be given everything, it ends up screwing us in the long run. And then we have to readapt our shit. And then when we readapt it, come back on and say, hey, I'm boom, boom, boom. Then you're going to have the candy asses in the background or whatever crying again. Well, why is he doing it? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So it's a never ending. That's why I said it's a bunch of fucking crybabies. Drivers are their own worst enemy. No matter what you give them, they're never going to be satisfied. It's always more. Like I said, them and their $10 McDonald's mentalities, that's all they come into the game with. These people have never made, even if they came from a $10 an hour job and they're making $30, be grateful you're making $30 because it's better than that 10 you were fucking making. And if you couldn't make $30 or $40 when you were making your 10, what the fuck makes you think you're worth $40 or $30 now?
That's it. Knowing your worth. Driving smart.
You're speaking on a lot of assumptions. Like one thing that a lot of people tend to forget is that like all these markets are different. Okay, so you don't know everybody's situation. You can't assume that everybody, the way that you're describing these people fits every single person. And I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong, but at the same time, what I am saying is that you don't know everybody's situation. You don't know what everybody's going through. I personally don't know why you guys are so concerned about these quote unquote candy asses / pigeons / all of this stuff so much. But
well, that's what they are.
You know why we're worried about them?
Yeah, excuses.
You know why we're worried about them?
I'm just saying. Let the guy talk. Let the guy talk for a minute.
That's all they know how to do is bring up excuses. Well, I'm not making this money. They want somebody to hold their hand and guide them every step of the way, instead of stepping up and taking personal responsibility. And I'll tell you one thing right now. A lot of people in this country that are in a financial pickle, they're in a financial pickle because of the decisions they've made. They blow their money in stupid shit. They go buy this. They go to a strip club. And you know what? I'm tired of it, man. So you drivers, a lot of drivers, I'll be happy they would just leave. And you know what? I don't feel sorry for you when you take a $9 order going 25 miles. You don't have to take it. And you take it, that makes you a dumbass.
Okay,
an absolute dumbass.
That shouldn't even be a thing.
And that's why we concern ourselves with these people, because in the long run, all these people are going to be the ones costing us money in the future. So that's why we worry about it. And as far as I don't know other people's situations, I don't know other people's markets. I don't have to know that. They are the ones that need to know that. They need to understand if they can't figure out their market or their market isn't good for them, move the fuck on instead of coming on chats, going outside with your sign at the airport.
Go somewhere else and adapt.
Move
Amen.
So they can't protest? Is that what y'all saying? They
can't protest all you want.
Nobody said that.
Protest all you want. Why don't you protest yourself? Quit being a lazy ass. Quit asking everybody.
And there's a lot of drivers. There's a lot of drivers I saw doing the protests that were on the news, and they were saying, "Well, I work 10 hours a day and I'm only making $100." That shit's crazy because
you're doing it wrong, man.
How many times have you seen me quit after an hour and a half saying ain't no money out here? If you out there for 10 hours and you saying, "Oh, I only made $100 a day," you're doing it wrong. You're fucking.
Okay, but here's the point: there should not even be a $9 order going 25 miles. That makes no sense.
Well, why do you think we have those orders? Because you drivers take the orders.
That's the point. Why is the system even offering that? Nobody. That's not a legitimate. That's not even a legitimate offer.
Let me I've done 14 rides. Let me show you something.
Like, why don't y'all realize that's the point?
Kevin, my dog, man. Kevin, my fucking dog.
Hey, you know what? When drivers, you know what? If drivers would stop into the garbage.
I love Kevin, man. I love
then you
Kevin.
might stop saying garbage. Why do you think we have Top Dasher? Why do you think we have the Diamond program? Because so many drivers are suckers. And these CEOs, they take full advantage of that. They take full advantage of that.
Exploitation.
They go, hey,
you're right.
We got a bunch of suckers that's going to take the garbage.
Exactly. And that's why what he said was exactly right. You have $9 for 25 miles because some jerk off is going to take it because they have put themselves in a financial situation that they got to take all the garbage just to pay their bills because they aren't financially responsible. They live outside their means. They want to be the baller when they ain't balling dick. So that's why you have these orders is because people are willing to take it because they put themselves in such a poor financial situation. They have no choice at that point. And that's the biggest thing I see in any gig work. These people they'll run themselves into the fucking toilet instead of realizing this ain't for me. Let me move on.
And then they cry.
But they'll run into the toilet. End up homeless, whatever the case may be, just because they don't want to sit there or they got that mentality, I can't follow a boss. Bitch, the customer is your boss, DoorDash is your boss. You got bosses already. So that is the lamest fucking excuse I hear all day long. I don't want to have to deal with the boss. You deal with 3 or 4 bosses every day. The customer, DoorDash, your wife, your kids, Everybody's your boss.
There you go. There you go.
So quit running. These people need to realize, hey, if it's not working for me, move the fuck on. But instead, we got people doing these protests, trying to help these little babies, pat the little babies on the back. Here, let me get that pacifier. That'll make you happy until the next round. Then you run yourself into the ground and you can't do it again. So
if we flip the script around a little bit. So say if we did move across to drivers could add their own bids on, their own rates, their own, like follow a proper contracting model through on it. We would all get beaten by people willing to take it cheaper. There's always going to be someone who does it 1 cent cheaper.
That's a good point.
To get the job. They'll scrap the jobs, and we're in the same spot again. So it comes down to do we need legislation then to stop that from happening? Because it'll be a race to the bottom if it's not from the companies racing to bottom with algorithms. It'll be a race to the bottom from drivers willing to do it cheaper.
Yeah, and that's where we got right now. That's where we are, a very saturated market with a lot of people willing to take shit for cheap, and it's pricing out the people who hold their worth up. So you got a whole bunch, just like Roy said, you got a bunch of people at the bottom who don't want to bust their ass to get up to the top, and they're drowning out the market and the economy. And I think that's why we protest, because we're running through the apps going, hey, you guys are exploiting these people at the bottom, running us out of the market because we're a little higher paid, we feel. And it's pushing us to go do cash rides. So we're saying, if we start doing business this way, give us that leverage. Let us have our own commercial insurance. Because right now my man Jamil is getting charged twice. He has his own commercial, plus he has all of his stuff that he's doing at the airport and stuff like that. He pays for his own airport shit and everything. So Roy's right for a lot of what he's saying. You're always going to have people at the bottom not wanting to put forth any investment, any time, any fucking effort. It's always going to be like that. There is no change in them people. So we got to figure out how to get them people out.
Yeah, it's the same with DoorDash.
No, we don't have to dig those people out.
And it's the same.
I don't have to dig them out. I tell you what, I would let you and everybody else go dig them out, but I'm not digging them out.
Because I work at a W-2 that deals with DoorDash, and I've seen DoorDash drivers that come in picking up pizzas. They don't even have a fucking pizza bag, and they can get free.
I see that shit all the time here, dude.
So that's the mentality we deal with. These are the people we're sticking up for. They're trying to stick a pizza in their little fresh DoorDash bag that DoorDash just gave them. Instead of, it's ridiculous.
Or not put in a bag at all.
Yeah, it's some crybaby shit, and I hate the crybaby shit. And you guys know me, I'm way against the crybaby bullshit and the fucking.
I don't give a fuck about a pizza bag or a fucking carry bag. Okay, like
pizza bag.
If you want to carry that shit, then cool. But like and maybe that's how y'all got to run in your market. In this market that I work in, most people don't even give a fuck. Most people got way too much shit. They're letting that shit sit at the door, and then they get to it when they can. They're not even checking for a fucking bag. But the point is, if you don't want to dig these people out, if you don't want to look out for people at the bottom, then don't. You ain't even looking out for your fucking.
Wait a minute, bro. You ain't even looking out for your fucking self to do your job properly. What do you mean? Don't worry about a pizza bag. How the fuck are you delivering pizza without a pizza bag?
I got like 4 pizza bags.
I didn't say I don't. I said I don't give a fuck about it.
You ain't even willing to help yourself.
I don't give a fuck about a pizza bag. I don't give a fuck about. You don't take your job serious. You don't even take.
I don't
give a fuck about a bag. I didn't say I don't, but it means
no
difference to me if my driver comes at me with a bag or not. Okay,
little things.
But it's a DoorDash rule, though. It's not a customer rule. It's a DoorDash rule, and it's about keeping the pizza like out of the elements and keeping it warm versus it just showing up cold and shit. Like, I mean, that's what it's made for. It's like an insulator. Right, and I understand why they do it, because if I ordered a pizza and I paid fucking $32 for it, I want that shit as close to fresh as I can keep it. That's all.
DoorDash does not care. A lot of these food orders be sitting on the shelves getting cold. These folks do not care. They will literally pick
Throw a tip on it. Throw a tip on it. Shit.
They will literally pick somebody. These companies will literally pick somebody from 5 miles away to go to a restaurant when it's people that's closer, when it's restaurants that's closer, to take an order 20 miles away. Like, these folks don't give a fuck about.
Man, when you value a delivery driver, when you value a delivery driver like me, when I'm covered in transmission,
because we got a bunch of bird brains. That's why. Because these companies know that they got a bunch of bird brains that will go ahead and be more than happy to go ahead and do it. Well, you know what? I let them do it. I want them to do it. Because you know what? I'll take that $10 order going 2 miles. Thank you very much.
And,
See, and I tell everybody, if you're using food services, don't look at the delivery of it being what you're paying for. You're paying for you not having to go in the house, clean yourself up, put on different clothes, get in your car, drive down, pick it up, come back. That's what I look at. So when I drop a $15, $20 tip, that's saving me time for having to get out of these oily ass clothes just to go do all this shit myself. So it's like, don't look at the delivery. Just erase that. Look at the value of who you are and how you value your own time. And that's how you apply money on a tip. So, you know what? I think it's worth probably about $15, $20 for me not to do all this shit. Throw 15, 20 on it. Call it good. You're going to lose it one day anyways.
Safer.
And Hoodie, look at it this way. You say these people out here don't give a shit about a bag. Why should we give a shit about them? They don't give a shit about their own job. They don't give a shit about the customers that they're potentially helping, like Jeff says, delivering them food and shit. So why the hell should we look out for them? If they're not looking out to make themselves look good as a customer service rep or whatever the case may be, why the hell are we worried about them? Why should we?
Okay, so I don't know how it is in y'all's market. Let me start there. I don't know how many of these types of people y'all come across in y'all's market, but those, in my opinion, that's a relatively small percentage of the people who are actually out here trying to do it the right way and are getting exploited by the process. Those are the people that I personally care about. I also care about the customer who I don't know how it is in y'all's market, but the rates have gone up significantly and the customers are paying more and the people doing the work are getting paid less. So that doesn't make sense to me that customers are paying more and drivers are getting less. Okay, whether it's food, whether it's rideshare, like that makes no sense to me. And that's just backwards, especially when the executive pay of the companies is going up. And then when you think about the companies taking a 30 to 45% cut off of the top, front end and the back end of the order, I mean, something's just not adding.
Yeah, see, and that's the transparency right there. We talk about that with transparency and just letting riders and customers know what all this money is going to, what all these fees are breaking down. You just paid 100. Let us show you what this 100 went to. 52 went to the driver, the other, 48 or 50 went, and they'd be like, damn, I didn't know I was paying that much in just fees. Imagine fees. Like, let's say you go to the grocery store and you buy groceries, but you find out of all the groceries you just bought, really the groceries are $30, but you just paid an extra 70 in fees. You'd be like, dude, but I'm only about $30 worth of groceries though. You'd be like, man, the fees are killing people. When they realize their fees, it stops making sense.
Yeah. But that's none of our fucking business, bro. That's like going to Home Depot and saying, okay, I got to buy $5 for a thing of lumber. You don't know what it involves. The employees have to be paid to load that lumber. They have to pay the lumber company to get that lumber to them. So at the end of the day, the transparency, it's none of our business. It's not our business to ask, okay, I went and bought a thing of strawberries for, let's say, $5. It's not, I don't care if the company paid $100 for the strawberries. Guess what? They got to get their money somehow. They got bills to pay. They got that building that they're paying for. They got the pickers or the people that bring the fruit to them. So there's always going to be a cost. So even if they did show us, okay, you got 50, they got 48, it's none of our fucking business because we don't know the bottom line of these companies and what their costs are. Nobody in this room right now can tell me what Lyft pays for their servers. They can't tell me what they pay to get these servers to run this app all year long. So how can we ask for transparency when we don't even know what these companies are their expenses?
Well, that's for their accountants to figure out how to run a sustainable business. And we being an independent contractor, their accountants have to run a sustainable business, but on our end, we have to be our own accountants and run our own sustainable business as well.
But you do that. But you do that on your own by cherry picking the orders you do. Yep. That's how you do it. You go out there, you learn the market, you cherry pick, do it the right way.
I agree, Roy.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. As long as my pockets are fat, I can give a fuck what Lyft makes. I can.
And that's why we do ride-alongs. We do that.
Like if you are an individualistic person and you're only concerned about your own pockets, then you're not going to understand the person that says they can see that there's something wrong here. They can see that other people are getting exploited. And you're not going to understand why somebody will stand up for them. And that's cool. If you want to be an individual, hold on. If you want to be an individual person and only be concerned about your own pockets, that's cool. I'm I'm not mad at that, but I'm not that type of person.
Oh, okay. Well, I got an idea. Answer me this: how many of those people that protest paid your light bill last month? How many of those people? Yeah, of course I'm worried about my pockets because I'm the one paying my bills. There ain't nobody standing at the airport holding a sign paying my fucking car payment. They're not paying my fucking house bills. So why? Yeah, of course my first concern is always going to be myself. And then on top of that, why am I going to worry about these? These people are trying to hurt my pockets.
You don't have to.
Sorry for them hurting my pockets.
You don't have to. No, you don't have to. If you are the type of person that's only concerned about yourself, that's cool. But it's people out there that recognize there's a community. There's people out there that recognize their strength and unity. Okay, it's just like labor unions, you know? Labor unions get together and have to bargain collectively because it's not about the one worker. You know, people who participate in labor unions, it's not about the one worker. It's about all of us. So if you are the type of person that doesn't rock with that, you know, you can do this your own way. But there are people who want to protest and are saying, we recognize there's a fault here. There's something that's wrong. And we want to stand up. Like I said earlier, all it took for me was just to see a video from, you know, my dude on here to say, hey, this is what we're doing. I said, okay, well, I can, you know, spend a day off and support these folks. Like, I'm not tripping like that. You know what I'm saying?
But you're conflating. What you're trying to do is when you bring up these ideas that, oh, these other workers that, you know, strike, protest for the other, you're looking at, that's a W-2 mindset, bro, because these are W-2 jobs that do that. You're independent. I'm going to say the independent employee / independent contractor, whatever you want to call yourself. But you're a contractor. You're an independent contractor. There is no getting together and throwing strikes. When you see companies like these hotels throw a strike, that's because they're W-2. It's a labor union. There is none of that when you're an independent contractor. There is no independent contractors labor union. I don't know of one. Does any of you guys do? Because I sure the fuck don't know of one. So you're an independent contractor. That means you're independent.
Well, y'all keep using the word strike. I said protest.
Yes, it's a protest. That's what I call it, a protest. There's no way we can strike. Because even during a protest, even during a protest, people are going to work because a lot of people did cash rides during the protest. They didn't just not work. Strikes usually don't work. But during a protest, you do work. Some people doing cash rides. Some people were doing high bonus and high surge rides only. They said, I'm only doing high surge, high bonus today. I'm not doing any cheap rides. So there's different ways to protest how you feel in your market. Because I know how our market is. And I tell people all the time, I got the videos on my channel. I could work 3 days. I used to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that was it. And in those 3 days, every week, religiously, $1,500 to $1,800, only working 8 hours a day. All the videos on my channel for all the motherfuckers. No, that's not possible. Videos on my channel, knock yourself out. But now when I see that the market, I can work a day or two. I'm only making 175, 200. I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong. Since the protest, though, this is what's funny. Since the protest, I haven't worked more than like maybe 5-6 hours. And I'm still bringing on almost like $80, $90 an hour. Because I think they're realizing that if they don't pay us, we're going to start doing cash rides now. That's what they're scared of. They're like, oh, these dudes doing cash rides.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is that, go out and protest because the real hustlers, they're going to be out there making the money while the little protesters are out there crying because they can't do it for themselves.
Well, so then y'all should be happy then. Well, then
go out and protest all you want because the real hustlers and the people, they're going to go out and make that money because
but that's only for one day.
You should be happy then.
I'll tell you what's concerning.
There's protesters out there, and that's what I said. Posted like, go ahead and protest so I can go out there and make that money. Great. Great. Well, then it's working. Yeah. You're getting paid more. So what? At the end result, you're getting paid more one way or another. So what is the problem?
But maybe if you get out of
time out, guys. Time out. Try to get a word in.
Maybe if you got out of the crybaby mindset and went and learned to do your shit right, you wouldn't be the one out there protesting. You'd be out there making the money like the rest of us.
Why do you care?
Roy. Time out.
Why do you care?
Time out.
All right. What you got, Pedro? What you got?
I want to give everybody a minute or so, some final words. But before I do that, I think I want to answer a question from Hoodie. And Hoodie, I appreciate you coming up here, man. I appreciate everybody for coming up here with your different opinions, perspectives. I think it makes for a great conversation, right? We don't always have to agree with each other. You know, me and Jeff don't have to agree, but we can respect each other. All 8 of us can respect each other for our perspectives, because we are in different marketplaces. We've been working at apps this amount of time, that amount of time. We, some of us might care about the pigeon or whatever word we want to use, and other ones are like, hey, I got to pay my light bill. It's all good, right? But to answer the question about why do you care about somebody protesting, why does it matter? Why does it matter? For me, my opinion, this is my opinion. My opinion is we're thinking about the moment too much, and we're not thinking about the future. I was
just about to say that.
I've always been very steadfast. Bet on you. That's the genesis of my channel, is bet on you, right? I want us to be thinking about the future. And for me, the more protests we have, I feel like what we're doing is we're just leveling it, like it's taking money out of my pocket. Right? So long term, I think it could possibly be a negative, because we're pandering to individuals that can't figure it out or shouldn't be in the space. Gig work is for everyone, right? I know Jeff can probably agree with it. This is not for everyone.
It ain't. I say it all the time. Yep.
That's what I'm.
This shit's cutthroat.
Yeah. Just for a moment, I don't want us to win 25 cents. We're here trying to 25 more cents an hour. Like, that is not significant change, right? No. But I want to get to Jeff. We'll go to Liberty and go back to Chris. Ron, I want to give you about some final thoughts, and I'll
Yeah, so usually what I say, even with the protest, my channel is more designed not to just to protest and bring light to the situation, but to educate people on how to drive better and smarter, how to strengthen yourself. It's kind of like going to the gym. I'm going to teach you how to work out. I'm going to teach you how you might lift 100 pounds a day, but you're going to lift 120 tomorrow. Then you're 145 the next day. My protest is a process. It's longer than just one day. Like a lot of people say, well, I'm going to take the day off. Well, you take the day off and not make money. In the long run, doing it the way I do it, in the long run, you're going to make more money. If you're driving at $1 a mile all year, it's going to take you 100,000 miles to make $100,000. If you're driving at $4 a mile, it's only going to take you 25,000 miles. 25,000 miles versus 100,000 miles is 75,000 miles worth of risk, wear and tear, fuel, and everything else. So, yeah, I teach people how to get more money through protesting the bullshit that's going on by fighting it every day. You're out there fighting it every day. But we can stand together collectively one day on February the 14th to show how many of us believe in the power of who we are. And that's what I say about it.
Respect that. I appreciate that perspective. SKM, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead and give us some final thoughts.
I just wanted to thank you, Pedro. Actually, what you stand for is a big reason why I started following your channel. I relate to a lot of things you say. But I definitely want to touch base on Valentine's Day. I was kind of on the fence of working it, but I got to support my family, and that's first, number one. So Valentine's Day, I noticed something, just, I don't know if it was just lack of drivers or, whatever it was, but the base pays were just extremely high. So I don't know if that was a counter move on that. This is Uber Eats particularly. But Uber Eats, I was just crazy busy, and I had a double order for 28 miles for $76. The tip was only like $6. And only one person tipped. So I don't know exactly how that works exactly, and that was like towards the end of the night, I would say. That was just definitely something I wanted to point out, just because I thought it was unusual and different. So I don't know if they were ready for us or anything like that.
I think the companies sometimes can do a good job at throwing money at a problem, and they wanted to make sure people were getting deliveries on Valentine's Day, right? Some of those Uber customers have that Uber pass, and they pay a lot of fees, and they want to have a good experience. So I think Uber probably put some surges, or DoorDash might have had some peak pays. I definitely saw some of those when I worked that day. So I think it's something that they do, even when it's just other holidays where there's no protests. They're gonna incentivize people to get out there and work. They want to get those deliveries turned and burned, Of course. But I'm glad you brought that up, that you share some of your market perspective. Hoodie Smurf, I'm gonna unmute you, my friend. Oh, I see. There. If you can give us some final thoughts, please. Thank you.
Man, my final thought is just in general, like, if this is something that, and I'm glad you said this, Pedro. I'm glad you said that your fear is that it's going to affect your money in the long run. But what I kind of don't understand is that you often say in your videos, you don't need this. You got other ways that you can make money, okay? You talk about it in a nonchalant kind of way, And now, you know, it's like there you don't have the fear, but because people are protesting, I don't understand how you have the fear now. I don't understand how you say, you know, you encourage people to bet on you, but when it comes to people who want to protest something that they feel is unfair in their eyes, and they're betting on themselves and their ability to do that in their way, now it's a problem. So if there is one way to bet on you, I was not aware of that. But the way I see it is, at the end of the day, all I saw was that there's some people who felt they were being done wrong. I could relate to that. So I said, I'll turn my apps off for a day and show a support for these people who feel like they're done wrong. You don't have to agree with that. If other people made money, I'm happy. Okay. If it works out where other people end up making more money, great.
Yeah, no, I'll respond. That's a fair question. This is how I would answer it. It's one thing to bet on yourself for 5 days a year. I want motherfuckers to bet on themselves 365. So that's how. And I think betting on yourself 5 days out of the year is great. I'm for it. I'm not against you, but I'm challenging people to look at the apps differently. And I don't want you to just get a 25-cent raise or to get this $200 here. That's small money. I want us to think differently, more long term. I think if that energy was used every single day versus 5 protests a year, individuals would be better served. That's my thought on that.
Yeah, but to what he said, you're not betting on yourself. You're letting all these other people bet on you. The protest. You're not betting on yourself. You're betting on everybody else standing there in the little picket line with you. That's betting. That's not betting on yourself. That's betting that hopefully that if you've got enough of you standing there, that you might be heard. That's not betting on yourself. I don't. That makes no fucking sense to me.
I see what Roy's saying. No, I see what Roy's saying, because he's got it right. Some people are not going to want to pull their weight. That's all Roy is saying. And we know that's true in everything we ever do. You're going to have a conglomerate of people who are not going to pull their weight. They're going to want somebody else to do all the heavy work while they get the benefits of that heavy work. I see where Roy's going for, and he's right. And the apps, or us, or somebody, we need to figure out how do we get everybody to come along and stop being dead weight in these protests, because they'll protest or they won't. But then when they get back out there, they won't pull their weight. They're relying on us to do it. Yeah. So I see where he's coming from. He's right. He's not wrong. He's right.
Hey, that was a big picket line. Okay, you talking about a little picket line trying to be disrespectful. That picket line was actually bigger than it had ever been. So that's just what I say to that. Like, if you don't agree, that's fine. But like, you just being disrespectful.
10 crybabies or 100 crybabies to me. It doesn't matter. I don't care about.
Well, you automatically label everybody as a crybaby. Like, you're the one
because you're a crybaby. If you have to ask other people to be able to make money doing a job that, as an independent contractor, you should be learning to do yourself. Then you're a crybaby.
Okay, I'm gonna just let you be ignorant, dude. Go ahead. I'm gonna just let you be ignorant.
Protesting? How about instead of standing there with your little sign, you go out and learn your market better?
Bro, you don't know my situation. You don't know anything about me, but you just assuming I'm a crybaby. Okay, that makes sense. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I know, that's how I look at it. I look at it as all you guys are doing is asking other people to coddle you to make sure you get what you want instead of you going out and getting what you want.
Nobody that's all that is. Do anything. I ain't.
But I think a lot of people who protest
to do it, bro. You are asking me. You come on YouTube.
You to do anything.
You guys come on YouTube and you're pushing a protest. You're asking us all to do it. You're asking everybody in this room to do it. To help you with your protest. So
I literally said, if you don't want to protest, don't protest. What are you talking about?
But I did a short that said 100% participation is not necessary. I did a short on my channel that said 100% participation is not necessary for a protest, because I believe a protest is not a strike. I believe a protest is getting a strike would take 100% participation for a strike to work, because you'd have people scabbing and going across. But I believe a protest does not require 100% participation. It requires people to listen, people to hear what the problems are, and us to look at how do we fix these problems. That's what a protest is to me.
You think a non-tipper is going to listen to anybody? They don't give a shit. They already know they're non-tipping. They got to go in the app and put 000. So they don't give a flying fucking first place.
They go in the app and put 000. These motherfuckers, they do that shit on purpose.
Ain't nobody listening to that shit.
Then we'll go to Gil. Then we'll go to
Yeah, I'll come in with just a balanced one and kind of wrap up my part here. So you have the control as an independent contractor right now to accept or decline. That control's in your hands. That's what you can do. That's what you can control. But it comes down to processing. You're asking for someone at the table or someone that's not you at the table, unless you are leading a protest, unless you are leading a union or something like that. The realism is that once you get these people at the table, some of them don't have their best interest for gig workers there. In Australia, we saw legislation pass through nationwide. There was 600 pages of legislation from different politicians. It got jammed in, and then they wouldn't pass stuff because they wanted their little political tweak in there and then their little political action in there. 600 pages of changes, and gig working on that was about 4 pages of it. 4 pages out of 600. And now that that's through, we don't have a say anymore as gig workers. It's the big boys at the table. We have politicians now determining what we can, what we can't do, the funnels we need to move through. And they've created a government entity that controls the outcomes of what comes through. And it's, you're still in a very lucky spot in America, where there's only a couple of areas legislated around this. You still have a clean battlefield ahead. My battlefield, my fight ahead now is with this Fair Work organization to figure out, hey, if any individual driver can put stuff through and get change done, how do I approach this? And if I can do it myself individually, what is not what I think is the best for drivers, but how do I figure out what the consensus of drivers want? Because it's not just about me, because if it's just about me and what I want on gig driving, I'm not better than the politician trying to jam stuff through. Yeah. I don't want to be the person that says it must be like this, but the challenge now comes down to what is the consensus of what the vast majority of drivers want going through. And that's something that gets very lost. Understandably, in these online groups, we do become very echo chambery. There's only a small amount of us, and we get the same ideas bouncing around. But the 90%, they're not tuned in online, guys. The 90% are out there just grinding, hustling, trying to figure it out. So the next steps, I guess, would be
hit up the workshop.
How do we figure this out? How do we figure out what drivers want specifically and get everyone to agree to it? Because until we have that, there's always going to be people unhappy with the change. There's always going to be dispute. There's always going to be protests. Always going to be picketing.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're never going to get 100% consensus. You could ask 100 people the same question, what do you want for gig work? You'll get 100 different answers. So that's the thing. You're never going to come to a consensus because, once again, nothing is good enough for these people. You could go tomorrow and say, okay, you're guaranteed $26. There's a specific guy I know. He's on YouTube. He's complaining because now he's not getting the orders. They're making sure he gets $26 an hour. That's the kind of shit you ask for when you go out and do these things. And that's the problem when you don't have that's why it's called independent. We all had different needs. We all get different things out of these jobs. So to sit there and think you're going to get enough people to come to the consensus of what they want, it's never going to happen. It never has. This shit's been going on for 8, 9 years now. And people still have different opinions on what.
Fuck your pizza bag.
No, you can get that's what's funny. These people, I saw the comment about why should have a pizza.
Instead of Dave Chappelle, fuck your couch, fuck your pizza bag.
Go to Papa John's, get a free pizza bag. You don't have to spend your money to get pizza bags. You don't have to. DoorDash sends you a bag.
Wait. Hold on.
Hey, I want somebody to do a Dave Chappelle skit with Dave Chappelle stumping on a pizza bag.
You're assuming that people don't use their bags at all. A lot of people just don't lug them around.
Bro,
they have them in their cars.
Here we go.
I do the same shit. I don't bring my pizza bag inside. I don't bring my red bag inside. It's in my car.
Here's your problem, Flex. You don't listen. I said specifically, I work in a business that deals with DoorDash, and I've seen people come in with their little free DoorDash fucking bag and trying to shove a pizza in the little free bag that they get from DoorDash. So I know people aren't using them. I've seen that before.
I'll start off my point very quickly. Starting to cut you off.
Yes, I know what I'm talking about. Thank you very much.
All right,
I'll just
Chris.
wrap up very quickly. So for every driver that's a top earner right now, earning the most money, every driver that's earning the smallest amount of money, barely scraping through, if legislation goes through or if a change goes through, the top earners are going to earn less, the bottom earners are going to earn a little bit more. We're going to find a middle point on there. So there's going to be people pissed off at the top. There's going to be people happy at the bottom. And yeah, so we need to find where that happy point is. And that's me out.
Hey, if there's legislation, y'all, you know what you got to do? Adapt. That's what we're doing now. Right? Adapt. Don't be afraid to adapt. Don't let it stop because some legislation happened. Don't be afraid of what may happen. All I hear is just a lot of, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. All that stuff is in your mind. It ain't even real.
Legislation is what limits your ability to do what you want. Legislation limits you.
I'm with Roy on this one. I do not want the government involved. I don't.
We wouldn't. This whole company, all these companies, this independent contract labor rule is a result of policy and legislation and policy changes that occurred in the start of the Obama era. So what are we even talking about here?
It's still not helping nobody.
We wouldn't even be here having this discussion if it wasn't for legislation and policy.
I don't know how that works, but I know.
Gig Bell told some final thoughts, Kevin, and then we're gonna let Flex.
I'm just gonna bounce out, guys. I've got a Blink-182 concert in a couple of hours. So I'm gonna have a few drinks soon.
All right, Chris.
Peace out.
See you later,
Peace, Chris.
So Gig Bell tolls. I got to unmute you. Hold up. There we go. Go ahead.
All right. Well, for your point, to bring up your point earlier. All right, the protests, they're coming from a good place. I truly believe that. I understand that, but I also kind of agree with Roy that it just seems like it's going to do a lot more favors for the ones who do this job terribly and do it wrong versus us who do this job right. And also to your point earlier, Pedro, I think the only thing the protests will really, I see accomplishing is forced legislation. And that happens, it'll be absolutely rough in my market. I mean, I saw that video you shared about the lady in Seattle, what's happening with her, and that will 100% happen here. We won't see orders because of this forced legislation rule, and people will probably stop using the service because you know what DoorDash will do, or Uber Eats for that matter. They will jack those fees right up, which means less work for us.
It could,
and
it could definitely mean that. Unless I just want that opportunity, so we might see less opportunity. Hard to tell, but I think that we're going to start seeing that trend in some other cities. Kevin, final thoughts, my friend. Oh, hold on. Let me unmute you. Hold on. Sorry. Go ahead, Kevin. You're live. Final thoughts.
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't believe that we should have a level playing field. And I disagree about panhandling. We don't need to panhandle to these people that want to protest. And I got news for you. You want more money? You want your benefits? You want the kit and caboodle? Well, I'll tell you what. You know what you're going to get in return? You're going to get an email saying, hey, you can't go on whenever you want to. These are the hours you're going to have to work. And these companies will limit your hours. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing. You won't be able to make $30, $40. And I'll tell you one thing else. You will have to take orders that you don't want to take. So you know what? Do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. Instead of protesting and doing all that crap, hit that decline button. You want to hurt these companies? Hit that decline button. Because right now, the way it stands is they tell you plain out when you signed up for these apps, you can accept anything you want, you can decline anything you want. And they tell you up front, you're gonna have to use your own vehicle, you're gonna have to pay for your own maintenance.
No lies detected, man.
In that regard, they are transparent. And it is not my responsibility. It's not your responsibility, Pedro's responsibility, or anybody else's responsibility to dig yourself out of a financial hole.
Facts.
And
Hey, Kev, you speaking truth, man. And that's why a lot of us run our channels. Like I said, we run our channels, and I'm glad we had tonight's live because there are kind of like workshops, like the way the way Pedro works, the way I work, the way a lot of us gig tubers work. They're kind of like workshops to show people how you can decline and get away from trash and how you can build up your money. And that's what the protest is about. Build up your money. We know the apps are constantly trying to pay us less and less and less and less. So we've got to come up with strategies to make more. And the apps are seeing our strategies. They're getting upset about it. But like you said, if you're not in this game to make money, you're not going to make it. If you're looking for a handout, that handout may not be there. You're going to end up evicted. A lot of people get evicted because they're looking for something that ain't coming.
Yeah, and if you ain't making the money to eat, filet mignon, go make the money to eat your cube steak. And let's do it that way. These people need to live in their means, man.
Hey, Roy, motherfucker, send me on my videos. I was boiling hot dogs the other night before I went out driving. I'm real shit.
And people need to take personal responsibility.
All right, let me get to the man on the moon. Flex, some final words.
The man
Flex.
on the moon. I mean, I don't think that protest would work, man. There's too many people out there that want to make money. There's just way too many people out there.
But I think the vocality of how massive it went got the attention of a lot of people. And that's what a protest is about attention. And I think a lot of people thought the protest was supposed to like shut the companies down and they go bankrupt in one day.
No, that's not going to happen.
It's a systematic process. Yeah, it's a systematic process of raising awareness. So when somebody gets in my car and they go, hey, man, I heard you guys, they ain't making a lot of money, man. I mean, I paid $82 for this ride. And I look at my upfront and be like, damn, you paid $82. I'm getting $36 for this. They be like, oh, shit, cancel this motherfucker and I give you $60. I'm like, bet.
You know what would happen before anything? They'll sell it. They'll sell it to Uber.
What?
DoorDash.
They'll sell what? Lyft?
DoorDash? Like DoorDash app we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Because all they would do is they would sell it to Uber.
They'll never lose.
They integrate systems. That's all they would do is sell it and integrate systems. That's what they did with that one alcohol place they bought. They bought it, tried to integrate systems. It didn't work, so they tanked it. And now you can do alcohol with Uber Eats.
Uber bought Postmates.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, just do what you want to do. If you want to take personal time off, so that's what I'm going to call your protest, personal time off.
PTO.
Then don't take personal time off. Let the people that want to work. That's how it was. Like I said, you can worry about John Doe, Jane Doe. You can worry about their pockets. I'm going to worry about my pockets first.
Yeah,
and I know.
But then at the same time, Roy, nobody was forcing no one to stay home. You know what I'm saying? It was just a suggestion.
And like I didn't work because I saved up for it. I worked hard up to that point. And I said, I'm going to stay home. I'm going to run a live stream. I'm going to keep everybody company that's doing the protest or not. Because we said people will be out there driving, doing cash rides. There were people on my live stream that were out driving while they were, doing cash rides or taking surge only rides. There was ways they were organizing it while they were letting people know this is why you're having a hard time being picked up tonight. There's a protest going on, blah, blah, blah. And they were just letting that. And oh, really? We didn't know that. I mean, people were making money hand over fist. But like Roy said, a lot of people were benefiting who are just opportunists. They don't give a shit either way. They're opportunists sitting at the bottom, waiting on shit to fall. That's all they do. They will never try to help out the industry by taking better rides. They will always take shit rides. They will always do like dumb transactions, and they'll wait till we put the hard work for the better money, and they just catch whatever's falling. They'll always be that.
There will definitely always be that. Gentlemen, listen, I appreciate each and every one of you that's been part of the show tonight. Jeff, I tagged you because I respect you. Even if we don't agree with shit, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much.
Facts.
Okay.
Facts, brother.
A lot of respect for you over there, man.
A lot of respect, brother.
Thank you for coming on. Hoodie Smurf, I appreciate your perspective. You're challenging me. I really, really appreciate you coming up on the show tonight. Roy, thank you very much. Chris from Australia, thank you. Gig Bell Tolls. My man, Kevin, they say you should be the president of my channel. I think I'm gonna have to reach out to you. Because Kevin's
Fire Marshal Bill.
Hell yeah.
Kevin, always I appreciate all of you guys. Flex, appreciate you joining. Gentlemen, I'm gonna wrap the show, but thank you guys very much for coming out.
No problem.
Well, you have a great one, Pedro.
And I will say one thing about Roy. Me and Roy, we may not agree on a lot of things, but Roy is old school, and that's what a lot of people take him the hard way. I grew up with people like Roy, so I know how Roy thinks. He's a old school, hard-nosed, get the shit done, shut up, don't talk to me type of person. That's who I grew up with, somebody like that. The new age of people are not going to take Roy right. because they don't. Roy's not a mean person. He's just very brash. He's real. He's 100 with it. So when he says something, he's not saying it from a bad place. He's saying it from a place of experience because it's worked for him to get him to the point where he's at in life right now. And he says, this is what it's going to take to make it in this cruel ass world. You think it's mean in them streets out there? Shit, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, no. I've learned the hard way, too. I learned the hard way when I ended up homeless because I got deactivated from one of these fucking platforms. So I've learned the hard way. I've done it the right way. I've made lots of money doing it. And I've learned the hard way of what happens when you fuck up. So, yeah, it's coming just personal. My thing, personal responsibility. It's all about you first. If you can't love yourself, then you can't love other people. And the fact that you don't want to have a pizza bag, you don't want to take your job serious, shows you don't love yourself enough. So why the hell are you standing next to other people trying to show them love? If you can't show love to yourself and take your
and it's simple shit, like taking a pizza bag to me is simple. But we as drivers, we're wiping our wheels, we're cleaning our seats, we're cleaning the fucking floors. We take this shit serious. We don't just roll up in pieces of shit. Like when my car, it looks like every ride I do damn near looks like my car, they're the first ride because we take it that serious. We wipe these cars down.
And I'm not, and as a rideshare driver, we all done rideshare. I don't wait till a person pukes in my car to put puke bags in it. That's just ignorant. Be prepared. Be prepared.
Be prepared
for your job. Yep. Just, these people go out here thinking, oh, well, I saw Pedro makes $40 an hour. I saw Jeff making $80 an hour. So shit, I'm going to get in my car and go make $80 an hour. No, you're not.
It don't work like that.
Because if you were already capable of making that $80 an hour or $40 an hour, you'd already be doing it.
You'd have been doing it. And it's hard to do it because you got to, like, I'm helping my man Nick. He just moved here and he's living in Scottsdale. For his first couple of weeks, he had no idea what he was doing. Now this dude's driving like a veteran already because you got to listen to somebody who's in that market. He thought he was going to come here and make what we make. It didn't work like that. We sat down with him, told him exactly how to hit these streets, how to do stuff. And now he's doing like shit better than us because he can stay out longer. That's what it is. But like you said,
it's just like out here in Vegas. But when I started doing Lyft, I didn't do the strip for a long time because I just didn't feel like it. But guess what? When I decided, hey, I want to do the strip and stuff, guess what I did? I took a day off. I went to every hotel in Las Vegas to find the pickup spot, the drop-off spot, everything. That is called learning your shit. So when I get the ride, so when I get the ride to Caesar's Palace, I'm not driving around looking like the dumb on the app trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go. So it's a lot of these people that are out here protesting, they just don't take it serious. Like I said, they just go out there, think they can automatically make the money that we make. But no, it's learning a lot of shit and they don't want to learn it. That's why they're standing out there wanting it given to them. At the end of the day.
And I see that point, man. I see that point. I see it. And like I said, it was an aspect that I didn't even see, that I didn't really think about, but I see what you're saying. There are people like that. They will sit around and look for the fruits of labor that they didn't even do.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like,
exactly.
Gentlemen.
So I'm going to say good night, guys.
Appreciate
Peace
you guys.
Peace out, Jeff. Have a good one.
All right, brother. All right, y'all. Peace out, my man. Thank you, Pedro. All right, Roy, you be easy, my man.
Thanks,
once again. Hey, thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate that. Much love, much respect.
Thank you. All right. So Jeff from his channel was Uber Jeep AZ, and now it's the Mic Drop Barbecue. Yeah, the Mic Drop Barbecue. Go check him out. He's actually was from St. Louis. So, and that's where I'm at. So he knows a lot of the streets and the areas that I'm in. So I'm glad we had that conversation tonight. I didn't know what to expect, who would want to come up on the panel and talk and share their perspective and debate or whatever. Dialogue is always good, right? We're not going to change any problems. We're not going to fix the world. But dialogue's good. Respectful dialogue is important, right? And I said why I think it's not going to be good long-term. And I think we're thinking about moments. And other people said that. And the people that protested or striked shared their opinion as to, hey, I'm trying to uplift people. We got exploitation here. We need transparency. The only way you're going to get change is if you do protest. And there's definitely something to be said for that, right? And history shows that. I just don't know if what we're doing now is going to be the way to get to that good point. I'm not sure. I don't have the answers, I definitely don't have the answers. But, some of the content that I saw, the people that were out there and the honking of the horns, and it's cool. Like you can tell there's a buzz there, right? But man, I just, for me, it just looked like a bad representation, not in numbers, but some of the people that are talking, we look weak. And I don't want consumers thinking we're weak. And I know there are a lot of people out there that are struggling in the gig economy, and they were wrongfully deactivated. They see $2 and $3 fares, which is stupid. But like, you don't have to take that shit. And I'm the king of no tip, no trip. I literally am the king of no tip, no trip. Nobody got more videos about no tip, no trip than me. Not one person. Okay? So I complain about it. Yeah, I get it. I might cry in my car tomorrow. Not really, but you guys see what I'm saying. About a clown $7 Instacart for 200 items. But I'm not going to take that shit. I'm not going to take it and then complain and then want them to give me more money. We have to start hitting decline. We're not reaching enough people. You know, between all the videos this, this week, let's say, we're probably at, I would say all the content creators, the media outlets, you're at several 100,000 views. Several 100,000 views. Maybe with every video, we could have had 1 million views. I would not be surprised if all the news channels, the content creators, 1 million views in the last week talking about this. That's 1 million views is 1 million views. So if that did touch a couple customers, maybe they got out of their pocketbook, their wallet, their satchel, whatever, and handed that driver a 20 because they felt some type of way, that's good for that driver. But that's still just a moment. How do we get past the moment and move to sustainable, good, positive future in the gig economy? Listen, I hate to be negative. I don't know if we'll get there. Does it need to be perfect? I don't think we're asking for perfect necessarily, but does it need to be? I don't know. Should we have transparency? Absolutely. In some cities that have gotten it, I think there's some benefit there. But when we want something, they're going to take something. We've seen that. They're very reactive. We're talking about David versus Goliath. Goliath's got a lot of money. And all I got is 74,000 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? The biggest YouTube channel that talked about this, they didn't get 1 million views. It took literally 60 different channels, I would say, between content creators with multiple videos, ABC, NBC, BBC, but it took 60 different channels to get 1 million views. We need one person to get 1 million views viral right away. Then it's on TikTok. And that's the only way it's going to work. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. People could look at that and say, Pedro, you're being pessimistic, you're being negative. You're only worrying about yourself. You might not be wrong. You might not be wrong. But the one thing about this channel is I've tried to help a lot of people not just think about gig work. I think we're too focused on the $2 order. We're too focused on a $9 ride. That's going to take 40 minutes. We're too focused on, does he have a pizza bag? Is he wearing chancletas? Does he have sandals? Is he dressed? We're too focused on insignificant things. I think if the protesters that we're going to protest 5 days every year, let's say there's 5 every year, which I think is a realistic number, 4 or 5 a year that are planned. We got another 4 planned. We have 1 this year. We got 4 more planned. If we did something with the other 361 days versus focusing on the 4 and trying to have an impact that way, I think we'd be better served individually. And then as more individuals are better served, the community of drivers gets stronger because now we're making more money. We're spending more money. We're feeling better. We're making better positive content because we're not sitting in our car stressed about these $2 runs, these $9 fares, airport trip, 40 minutes. When you can level up and try to figure out how to not have DoorDash and Uber be your 100% of your income. I've been fucking goddamn saying it for 2 years now. When your focus, when all your income is coming from DoorDash and Uber, this is what you get. You get protests. You get people who've been doing this for 20 years and they're mad that they're making less money or the same money. It's because you're doing easy work for 20 years. That's why you're getting the results you're getting. How do we get past that? How do we get past that? That's all I'm trying to say here. Like, how do we get past wanting a 25 cents more? How do we figure out how to make $25,000 more next year? I'm not worried about pennies. We're worrying about pennies and little dollars. We got to focus on things that are more sustainable. And I'm not sure, I'm not saying I know, but I'm not sure if this is going to get us to that point individually. I don't know. It's fun to talk about it. I love talking to people that think differently, have a different marketplace, different perspective, can challenge one another. I think it's really good. We need more of it. So I'm glad we were able to do some of that tonight, for sure. I think I've got 20% left on the phone without a charger. So we're going to go a little bit more. I want to read some comments, give some shout outs. Okay. Appreciate everybody for coming up. Appreciate all the super chats, you guys, the likes, all that. Appreciate y'all. Definitely like this content. Let's share it out. Before I give some shout outs on Wednesday, Valentine's Day, my part was, and I was going a little crazy, but I did a 7-hour stream, 35,000 views on that. Now, a lot of those views are only 2 or 3 minutes, but that was my part for the protest. I don't have to agree with everybody, but I could do my part. Whether it's to get my ideals out, my message, what I think we should be thinking about, or if you agree with the protests and strikes, then 35,000 people saw that. Nobody else did that. So I'm not against everybody. I just want us to look at things a little bit differently. I want us to look at it a little bit differently. And the only way we can do that is to bring people together that think differently, so we can all look at it differently. And we take pieces of what I might have said and what Jeff and Roy and everybody else and Kevin and Hoodie, like we have to listen more. Right? I think a lot of us as a protest, they just want to talk, but they're not listening. And they're saying it'd be deactivated 12 times. Cap, that's a lie. Ain't nobody been deactivated 12 times. So when we have that as the media representation of us, it's not a good look. So how do we get a better representation? I think the next time, when it continues, we got to have better representation. Nothing wrong with the emotion and that's good for the media. Okay, it's good for the media. Okay, so if we got somebody crying out there and on ABC News about them taking $2 runs and they can't pay the mortgage, I'm gonna be saddened to see that. But the media will eat that shit up. But that's not how we should be feeling and acting. It's not. All right. Stoffel Badger, Gig Gal, Pit Star, Tammy. I'm gonna read through these names. Real Talk, Queen, appreciate you. Cray, Rangel, 75. Taqueen, what's up, man? Bruce, Deliver with Ellen. Tammy, Kevin, Santis, Backwardsman, Tammy Penny, Let's see, Dashing Womble, Queen, David Shen, Pitstar, Big Car, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Rhonda, I'm trying to just any other new name I see. Cheeky Chops, what's up? Santa's Earth, Santi's Earth, whatever that says. Kim, Warren Cash, what's up? Appreciate you guys. Coach, whoever that is, appreciate you for being here. Thank you. Mike Drop Barbecue, appreciate it, man. J Dub 517. I think I've got Dig God Farter. Matt, Ricky Moss. I'm trying to see everybody's name. Nomadic, I think I said yours already. James, what's up? Queen Penny. Yeah, a lot of same people commented, but I appreciate y'all. Dash Your Life Hawaii, appreciate you. Ron Boots, JS Investing, what's up? Appreciate you for being in here. Eric, what's up, man? Appreciate you. I think I got through a lot of names. So yeah, we're not fixing the world's problems tonight, but obviously this is on Sundays. We have the most long-running live shows in the gig. Like this is the most consistent. This is the hottest topic in the gig economy right now, right along with the migrants, and obviously after that's the pay or whatever. But everybody's talking about it, so I felt like it was fitting to talk about it, see who wanted to come up, bring the other side. I talk about sitting at the table. Hey, Tony, you see this? Uber, Lyft. Listen, I've done Uber, Lyft. I've done rideshare. I've done enough. I got enough in my market. Okay, I don't have the biggest channel, but I got a decent voice. I'll sit at the table. I will come out to your headquarters on my dime, Monday through Friday, business hours, baby, 9 to 5 every day. I'll sit at the table. You can ask me any question. I'll answer them honestly. I'd like to ask y'all some questions. I'd like to make some progress in that way. I ain't gonna have no damn sign in my hand. I ain't gonna bring nobody with me but myself. Just me. You want somebody else there? Cool. I want a seat at the table. That's how we can get change done, I think. That's how we can get not the legislation. That's how we can get maybe wrongful deactivations. I'm not even the pay thing. I'm not going in there sitting at the table, Tony, saying I want more money. You're not gonna hear that from me. But I'll tell you things I don't want to see. I don't ever want to see a $2 order, and that's fair. Put me at the table. Shit. I'll ask Jeff if he wants to come out. I'll ask Torsten. I'll ask Sergio. Put us 4 there. We can figure some shit out. Trust me. You put us 4 dudes at that table for a week, Monday through Friday. We can figure some things out for some drivers. For every driver. The good ones, the crappy ones, the pigeons, the kings, the wolves, the bandits. All of us. There's certain things that we should all just respectfully get. And I get that. But I don't want no politician at that motherfucking table. That's what I want to stop. I hope y'all understand that. You don't have to agree with me. I don't want Trump. I don't want Biden. I don't want Vivek, Nikki, Bernie. I don't want none of those people sitting at a table talking for me about something they've never done. All these motherfuckers were born with silver spoons, every single last one of them. I don't want some legislation person from Colorado, Seattle, Cali. I don't want somebody I've never met representing me. I've talked to Jeff. I've met Sergio a couple times. I've met Torsten. People that I have met, broke bread, I shook your hand, I looked you in the eyeball. We don't have to like each other. We don't have to agree. But I don't want no politician at the table. That's what I'm trying to avoid. And I think that that's what we're having. Now, am I worried about legislation being rapid, fast, going to be in a lot of places? No, I'm not worried. But it doesn't mean, because I want less government. I've always said that, whether it's with striking or whatever else, taxes, or I want less. And I think if we get what we want, if some people get what they want, that means it's going to come with some legislation. I do not want that. I don't want not 0.0001% of it. Think about what that's done for us, man. It's either made people lazy and comfortable, which is two bad things to be consistently. So can it be lazy and comfortable on your day off, week of vacation, feet in the sand, Corona in your hand? That's different. But I think what we've done is when you have too much government, too much legislation, too much pandering to the weak, and I know there's a lot of weak people out there, but let me tell you something. My father was born in Puerto Rico. It's not a state, but he came over here legally because it's what do you call it? Not even a commonwealth, but it's here. It's not like crossing the border from Mexico and there could be some issues. No issues when you're born in Puerto Rico. My mother was born in Puerto Rico, came over here. My dad had nothing, man. Didn't have shoes sometimes. Burnt his house down as a kid on accident with his siblings. They had nothing. Parents weren't there. Nothing. My dad's from the dirt. My mom didn't have much either. So I come from nothing, man. Government cheese line, 5 years old, government cheese. But we got out of that shit. Because my dad ain't no bitch. He ain't no sucker. You see, my dad's a hustler. He's a man. He's a family man. He's going to figure it out. My dad worked 3-4 jobs for about 4 or 5 years. When I was between the ages of like probably 12, 13 to about 18. The man hustled. That's where I want us to be. You don't need to do it forever. So all these drivers out here driving for 20 years and now they're mad and I've been deactivated 12 times. That's on you. How do we get out of that employee mindset? We need employees, and there's great employees. I've been an employee. Hey, I might be an employee one day in my life. I have no idea. Things happen. I'm not going to sit around and look for somebody else to do something for me. What I'm trying to stop is from a politician to sit at a table and talk for me. I don't want a union delegate doing that, trying to get their pockets fat. I don't want none of that. But I'll sit at the table by myself or with somebody else that'll sit with me that's an actual driver. I'll go out there tomorrow. If I wake up and I got a DoorDash email, hey, this is a representative from Tony, this is a representative from Dara, we saw it live by chance, you know what? What do you got to say? If that's how the email ends, my response is, I'll see you today. I'm on a plane ticket right now. I go upstairs and tell Madison, hey, babe, I got some business to handle. I told my audience, this is what I would do. This is what happened. I'll see you next Monday. And she'd be, all right, babe, I got you. Just call me every day. And I'm gone. Is that going to happen? Extremely unlikely. Not going to happen. I'm not big enough. But I'll put that out there publicly. Because I don't want somebody else talking for me that's never met me, that wants votes. We got to take care of each other. But the more we protest, we can take care of each other at a picket line or a protest or a barbecue or whatever, right? But if these politicians start getting wind that there's enough people that are angry, they're going to want to team up with us. That's what I'm trying to avoid. And I hope some of y'all can at least respect that. I don't want the protesters. I don't want people taking $2 rides and doing this. I don't want that for y'all. But you got to stop doing it. Like, I feel old now. What's up, Queen Katie? So that's what I had in my mind tonight. Really good live. Appreciate all y'all for thumbsing it up. Appreciate the panelists for coming on. Definitely like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. 40 isn't old by any means. No, it's not old. You're only as old as you feel. There's some 28-year-olds that are super old. I know people that are 60 that can kick their ass. You know what I'm saying? So you're only as old as you feel. But appreciate y'all very, very much. I already have a video that I filmed today that will be out tomorrow, a little sneak peek. It's about Instacart. It's about the customer app and my experience and the price difference. So I think it's going to be a little bit interesting for some of you guys. A little different type of video. That'll be out tomorrow. Listen, And I want, and also in closing, I want us to get to the point because we're gonna have the same shit's gonna happen next year, right? So how do we, how do we start doing better for ourselves, man? We got to start doing better for ourselves before we can worry about the next man. And I think some of the people worrying about the next man, maybe they're doing all right. So I get why they have that empathy for somebody and they don't want people to be taken advantage of. But I see a lot of people that want to spark change and hold a sign, and they ain't even got their own shit together, and they're trying to I think they're just trying to band together to make one equal whole. You know what I'm saying? It seems weird to me in this space. I'm all for down injustices and other ways, and that's different. But in this space, I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'll keep talking about it because it's going to keep happening sometimes, and I always give my opinion. And as things change, as I learn more, maybe my opinion shifts a little bit. I'm not against that. You guys should know that from this channel. I've talked about different things. I've had different opinions as things change. The apps change, consumer spending habits change, my needs change. A lot of things change. The apps stay very similar, but then there's changes within them. But outside of the apps, a lot of things change, and I'll always come on and talk about those changes. And I'm not always right, and that's okay too. So appreciate all y'all for being in the chat tonight. I didn't know how long this would be, but I think this is an appropriate amount of time. Y'all have a great rest of the night. If you're out there listening and you're driving, please be safe, make good decisions, make your money. And when you get home, or if you're home right now and you got your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your kids, give them a hug, give them a kiss, because we're doing this for them, right? And that's what's most important. Let's not lose focus of that. You guys have a great night.